This episode of the Patriots Postgame Show is presented by DraftKings.
This is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
Henderson cuts it left, runs it to the left side, into the end zone. That's 2 for Trevian Henderson, and the Patriots take the lead.
Join the conversation by calling into the show at 855-PATS-500 or email us at podcast@patriots.com.
He throws, floats it in the end zone, touchdown, Patriots! And who caught it? Trevian Henderson, a hat trick.
Live from our studio inside Gillette Stadium, this is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
Thank you for checking in with us here on the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings. Paul Perillo is with me. Mike Dussault, thanks for joining us. I'm Kwani Lunis, and as you just saw, Patriots lose this one 35-31, the Buffalo Bills. Stay in it till the end. It was a good game, and I think that's the consolation that we'll start with, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great start by the Patriots. I mean, I thought they came out and played, maybe their best half of the year.
Absolutely.
Certainly coming out, forcing the Bills and Josh Allen to punt 3 straight times was great. You got a couple explosive plays from Trevian Henderson. Thought they had a plan in the red zone. I mean, a lot of stuff we talked about on the pregame show.
They
it's like,
actually executed.
It's coming. I mean, Rhamondre, started things right off the bat with a 15-yard carry. And then Josh Allen and the offense woke up, and it was shades of the 2021 playoff game where they did not punt 5 straight scoring drives for the Bills. The Patriots just had no answers on defense. They had nobody to make plays. You can talk about some of the injuries that led to this point, but ultimately, at the end of the day, Josh Allen did what Josh Allen does, MVP things. He's a fantastic player. You got to put him away when you have a chance. They had some chances to do it, and they could not do it this year.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. If the first thing you said, that was the best half of football I've seen the Patriots play, not just this season, in a long time.
Yeah.
They were flying around. Their physicality up front was noticeable on both sides of the ball. I thought, Josh McDaniels, as Evan would say, was deep in his bag.
Yeah.
Some plays were modest gains, but, some wrinkles here and there.
Yeah.
And a lot of two-back looks with Rhamondre and Trevian Henderson. They would look like they were doing whatever they wanted to do. Unfortunately, they played 2 halves. But I agree with everything you said about the first half was really, really good. They're going to have to figure out a way to go to plan B. Once whatever they're doing stops working, they need to find a way to figure out what they can do to make it work. And today they weren't able to do that. They really had no offense at all in the second half other than, sort of a broken run and unbelievable individual effort by Trevian Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You take those 2 big runs out, it maybe looks even a little bit more different, but I don't want to take away from the start that they had. And
in the first one, was part of the the second one, you did nothing offensively the whole half.
Yeah, right.
You're running into a brick wall. There's 5 guys there. He cuts back, and there's nobody. It was like Marcus Allen in the Super Bowl. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I mean, we'll get to it. But it was disappointing because the division was there to be won today, and now I feel like I owe you. And I'm sure everybody else is going to yell at me too, an apology because you kind of, I still think the division is over. I think the Patriots have the division, but you left the door open a crack a little bit.
I mean, you're going to have to play down through Week 18 now, and that's, you wanted it the easy way. You wanted to secure the division. Maybe it just take a little bit of the pressure off, but I mean, I think if we're honest with ourselves, that this team, that's probably asking a little bit more than this team should have been asked of, this first year of Mike Vrabel's team, especially with, the Milton Williams injury. Robert Spillane active did not play. And you could just see Harold Landry banged up. They don't have the game changers on defense right now, especially against a guy like Josh Allen, where that's what you need. Someone needed to make a play to stop the bleeding, and you just couldn't do it.
Yeah, and it goes back to the conversation we had last week about the expectations for a team like this, where at the beginning of the season, you didn't even expect them to get this far. But now that we've seen their progress, a game like this, you would assume would have been won. But again, there's so many factors that got in the way of that.
I mean, you got to know. I mean, we were saying it up there. It was Drake Maye. Here's your chance. First, fourth quarter comeback of your career. You take the field with, over 2 minutes left, plenty of time. I mean, that's a situation. And then the offense just continued to look clunky as they did in the second half. So I think this is a good lesson for this team. And certainly they're going to have to face Josh Allen plenty of more times. And this is a reminder to now the Mike Vrabel regime that this guy is awesome, and you're going to need your best game for 60 minutes to, you got a 21-0 lead. It doesn't matter. I don't think I wasn't in the press box like, all right, they got it.
Exactly.
You knew this was going to be continue to be a game.
I told you, Mike and Evan and I were talking, and I didn't have it quite in the nod category where I was like, they got this.
Yeah.
But I was not expecting the second half to unfold like that. I thought the Patriots would continue to move the ball the way. I mean, they made it look so effortless in the first half, and they couldn't do anything in the second half.
Especially going 3 and out with your first possession. It's
Right.
like the Bills.
Yeah, and that's when I said,
what it was.
Yep.
I knew the Bills would give you a pushback. The Bills are a good team. I know, like, this is going to come to a surprise to some. The Bills are a good team. Yeah. It's a playoff team.
Yeah.
And they have playoff mettle. I knew they would give a pushback. I just thought the Patriots would continue to move the ball, and they didn't.
Yeah. Well, no need to postpone it. Let's get into good, the bad, and the injured.
Now it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
Hey, what happened?
and the injured.
You all right, guy?
The good, the bad, and the injured is brought to you by Aaron's. We just had a snowstorm, and as you know, in New England, you never can expect when the next one will be. So stay ready and get yourself a snowblower from Aaron's, and you could clear the snow, head back inside, and cheer on your New England Patriots. Aaron's is the proud official snowblower of the New England Patriots. You can visit www.ariens.com to find your Aaron's. And as usual, we will start with the good.
Sure. Let's
get right into
start
it.
with Trevian Henderson. I mean,
Say Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, if you
There we
layup.
go.
Yep,
There we
here
go.
we go. Who wants the layup? The easy one. But what a fantastic player he is, and just the explosiveness. I mean, this is what we were hoping that he would be. And this, this play here was that was one of the good ones. But he just, I thought the running game was better. Like I said right off from the start, they had a little bit more room inside. And then, the big plays from Henderson just ran hard. I think he's gotten over some of those early season, I don't know if there's struggles. It's just we saw one thing in training camp, and then we got in the regular season, and it seemed like, all right, pass protection's a little bit more complicated than we thought. But you had to believe that his speed would translate. We saw that all summer, and now we're seeing it. 2 huge runs, touchdown runs. That, I mean, let's face it, that was the offense in the second half. Was that one run by Henderson, and even watching some of these plays here for the people watching online, it's there's still just it's tough out there, man. It's tough for these guys.
The benefit of having that home run guy is, a lot of people will do this, and I do it a lot too. The 2 big runs, 65. He didn't do anything on really any of the other runs, but that's what the big playability gives you is we can keep running these tosses, and they're going to bottle them up, But you know what? They're going to miss one of them. And, I'm going to cut back on one of them, and all of a sudden, there's just nobody there. So this is the home run ability that I think we saw glimpses of in the summer, and he's starting to put it together. He's a guy, I think that maybe some of these cuts, Mike, we wouldn't have seen maybe in the first month and a half or so, and we've seen them since that Tampa Bay game. We've seen this kind of explosiveness from Trevian Henderson.
It's been the 2 biggest new elements to this offense is Drake Maye pushing the ball down the field and Henderson's explosive playmaking. It's for too long, even with some of the time when Brady was here, it was just you didn't have either explosive plays down the field because you didn't really have the receivers, or you didn't have the explosive plays in the running game. And that's, what they're getting. So that means they're never out of it. But at the same time, I think the overall consistency of the run game is still, there's still a work in progress.
And with Henderson, I think there's a level of confidence we've seen with each game that his confidence has definitely grown. But it's just the consistency is not what we need from him.
And I mean, and I connect that to the, the whole operation. It's not just the running backs. I do think that they ground out, a couple tough carries here and there to get some first downs. But, look, the stats look great. I mean, it's going to be, the Patriots hung all these rushing yards. We know how much of that rushing total was, 2 carries. But at the same time, I love this touchdown. Drake getting out in front of it. I mean, you were hoping that this play could snap them out of their funk in the second half, and it really didn't. Credit to the defense for forcing that last punt and at least giving them a chance. But overall, it wasn't good enough in the second half. And I wonder if the team ran out of gas a little bit. If it's just that they couldn't maintain that kind of mindset they came out with. I don't know what the reason was, but tale of 2 halves.
Yeah,
it
absolutely. And I'm gonna Mike, you mentioned there's 2 big runs. I'm going to put Rhamondre Stevenson on the list as well. I thought that he set the tone with the 15-yarder, but 6 carries, 50 yards. That's more production than we've seen from him in quite some time. He looked I thought he looked a little bit quicker today.
Me too.
More decisive. Three catches also for 27 more yards, 16-yarder. Big play to start maybe the second drive of the second half, and ended up stalling from there. But there was like a little skirmish on the sideline after it.
Yeah.
But I thought he set the tone, I thought, early, and then Henderson with the big plays. See, those are the kinds of Stevenson's going to give you the bulldozer inside. He can't give you those big plays that Henderson does. Looks like a pretty good combination, though. I know I don't want to hear it today myself, to be honest with you, but I know people aren't going to want to hear anything positive today, but I think that was a positive development, the way those 2 guys complement one another.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all had to grapple with they might lose this game. And I mean, to go down 35-31 to the Bills in December, it's not like they walked in here and what was the score when they croaked them? I mean, you're saying it doesn't look like it.
It's one of those, if you told me they're going to lose 35-31, I'd say, no. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You got in a shootout with Josh Allen. That's what Josh Allen do.
Right.
But you can't blow 21-0 leads.
No, that's
24-7 at the half.
That's definitely fair, but not entirely unexpected of a team like this who, was young, missing some guys, and so it still hurts, no question. You had an opportunity here, and you don't want to look back at the end of the season and say, you got a huge opportunity there coming out of the bye, then you squandered it, then things went, they got to figure out this week a way to come back and go play a Baltimore team that's going to be hungry and desperate too, and get back on track, especially defensively.
Coming off a rare win, so they're still alive. Baltimore, I was, kind of thinking, Baltimore loses that game to Cincinnati on the road, and all of a sudden they're 6-8. What do they have to play for? Now there's life. In Baltimore, they had a 24-0 win today. They shut out Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So maybe that defense played with a little bit of passion today that they haven't had. But you're right. It's, again, my apologies. Like you've given life.
I mean, I don't know what that game was like. I'm just looking at it real quick. Like, Lamar was 8 of 12 for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, where'd all the
it was really, really cold. Well, there was I know there was a long pick 6 for the Ravens for one of the touchdowns.
Yeah, we'll get into it later.
Yeah, I mean, so just piggybacking on some of this stuff with the running. This is mostly running today. We'll get to the passing game in another list. The red zone offense.
Yep.
Mike and I and Evan spent the week, Kwani, talking about some of the things they might be able to do differently to jumpstart the red zone offense, and that was getting one of the things that everybody mentioned. Not like we were breaking new ground. Getting Drake Maye involved in some of those red zone situations with the run, and you get 2. And I definitely think the second one, obviously the first one was a design run. The second one I think was a quarterback draw. Garrett Bradbury was pretty far downfield on that play, so I think that was a designed quarterback draw. So 2 touchdown runs for Maye, 8 yards, 7 yards, boom, boom. It's nice that Josh McDaniels is listening to Patriots Unfiltered. Appreciate it. But I thought the red zone offense was a positive development early on in this game.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part about the good list, because most of it is first half heavy.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the second half, I don't think much stands. But on my good list for the defense, I pinpointed a few players. Jack Gibbons with that sack on Allen. Yeah. We had Harold Landry with a sack as well. Christian Ellis with a very essential breakup. So looking at the history of this defense of the last few weeks, it's good, but again, when you look at the second half, it's like a half point, like a half sack.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
give
they couldn't stop them. They couldn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the opposite of the
That is a way to make an entrance, Fred.
This is not the Fred I was hoping was going to walk in. I thought we were hats and donuts.
Right.
Looks like he's Darth Vader there.
I'm demoralized.
Do you have anything for the good list?
For the good list?
I know.
Oh, there's a lot of good.
I mean,
we did the running backs, obviously. We talked about Henderson's home run ability, and I thought Stevenson was better today too. Red zone offense early in the game, with Drake Maye getting involved with the. I know, Fred, it's hard. I know.
Come on, we'll get through it.
Gotta be positive.
The season's not over.
We have to try to be professional.
The division's still within reach.
It is.
Mike, did you have anything?
I wanted to say, I just wanted to highlight, I thought the first half pass protection was excellent. I just thought.
I thought the
you
pass
know,
protection in the game was
Yeah,
excellent.
I mean, there were a few key sacks at the end that it was, but I thought
they
those were almost coverage
coverage.
sacks. Yeah,
Absolutely
right.
coverage sacks.
So I did want to qualify it a little bit in the second, but I just thought Drake really found a rhythm, and there were, a couple times downfield. I mean, ultimately his production wasn't really all that high in the passing game. Would have liked to see more of that. That's probably what was missing, especially at the end. Seemed like he was off. Just passes didn't look right behind guys up.
But I had
Yeah, that
pass
pass to
protection
Boone
on.
was nice.
I had my pass protection on my list as well. I thought those guys up front.
Yeah.
If Wilson's healthy or not, like he looked fine. And Vidarian Lowe again.
Yeah.
Vidarian Lowe again was. There's no
Fine.
drop off there at all.
Yeah.
They're fine. I thought the pass protection was good. I had Booty specifically for that catch. Terrific catch. Fred was
Beautiful
telling
catch.
me during the game, I'll let Fred explain what Gene Steratore was saying. That maybe Patriots got a little fortunate on that. Gene Steratore seemed to think the ball moved when he hit the ground, and maybe even he stepped out of bounds.
Well, he didn't. though.
On his route?
I saw that. I don't think he did.
I mean,
I don't think he did. He didn't.
watch it
See,
from where we were.
I thought he
couldn't
caught
believe
it. But they said, I guess Steratore said this ball moves, and it would have likely been overturned had R.A. McDermott challenged it. But this is a terrific play. This is a big third down early in the game. They were on the verge of going 3-and-out to start the game. And, obviously that jump starts a touchdown drives and gets you off to your 7-0 lead en route to a 21-0 lead. That was a big catch.
30-yarder. Yeah, it does look like
Yeah.
it.
Anyway.
All right. So I thought, the one other play I would highlight is just the Carlton Davis play, which gives you an opportunity at the end. It's 3rd and 4. Ty Johnson's a good player. There was a blocker out there. Josh Palmer is in position. And, again, Mike, you were making the joke, Carlton Davis leaves all these games. He comes back in and he finds a way to make a play. I mean, that was a terrific open field play by Carlton Davis to give the Patriots one last possession there. So that was kind of it for my goods.
Yeah, that's it for me, too.
You got
It's
anything?
funny, the tale of halves. I had
I was
like
so
8 goods
excited.
and one thing on the bad list at halftime, and now it just kind of
it
completely
shifted.
flipped.
I was maybe a little too enthusiastic. Like I started with Drake May. Like I was all in, and then I was.
Someone at some point is going to have to explain that to me. But this isn't the time.
Yeah,
this isn't the
this is
time.
not
No
even the right time.
explaining.
But yeah,
I'll do it off air.
Thank you.
It takes a while.
Yeah, it just
It's
like a
kinda
tale
dumb.
of two halves, but well, you're not in the bads yet. But all the goods that
we're
you
here.
said,
No, we're here.
there's a lot of good that happened. Most of it was in the first half, but even in the second half, Carlton Davis's play, Paul mentioned Henderson's run, but both the offense and the defense didn't show up in the second half.
Yeah. I wonder if they got tight. Like, I don't know if it's just, here it is, there for the taking.
They looked like they got tight. I do agree with that. I had one of my friends texting me in the middle of sort of the onslaught. It was like, they look like the
Something
pressure's
changed.
Yeah.
the pressure's a factor here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Only they'll know that for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'll start my bad with the kick coverage.
Yeah.
The Bills were on the ropes, and you just continue to let them
Every
start the
time.
ball
Well,
around
at
midfield.
least twice. Yeah.
They had 3 kickoff returns that got to midfield or better, and one of them had a penalty, another Brendan Schooler penalty. I know I pick on him a lot, but he's supposed to be your Pro Bowler, and the special teams do not look great when he's involved, and they get a penalty every time. And these were all these just look at it, easily past the 40-yard line there. Borregala saved a touchdown on the first one.
This sets the whole tone to start the second half.
And this is the second half one where Craig Woodson saves a touchdown. Yeah, look, almost on the plus 40 on that one. So just not good enough.
Yeah, I had the whole thing. I mean, I think there was a false start on a punt, too.
Yep.
I mean, I just put the whole
I had penalties
special
on
teams in there
for
where,
special teams as well.
that first kickoff return, though, it set the whole tone.
And most
for,
of them started after the half.
Right. I mean, the 42, but the last drive that set up their first touchdown, they started on their own 42. They come out to start the third quarter. They start on the 44. I mean, it's special teams letting them down today, especially right out of that gate in that third quarter. It's just, boom, they're right back knocking on the door for a second straight touchdown. What else we got?
So I had red zone defense, which has been a problem all year. And they've been saved by the fact that the defense hasn't really allowed a lot of red zone trips. Well, today the Bills got to the red zone a lot, and they ended up in the end zone a lot. 0 for 4, the Patriots were in the red zone today. That's big. the only way you can lose this game is if you can't, force a stop or two. You got a 17-point lead at half. Even a field goal on one of those 3 drives that they come out with is the difference in the game. So I had red zone defense.
Yeah, I
on
just
my
think
bad
the
list.
defense on a whole was a little exposed today in terms of the front 7. I've never seen a more porous middle of a line.
So I had run fits.
It was just
that's good.
just
Fred.
awful, and they don't really have anybody up front to make plays. There's no one making plays,
Right.
And without without Milton Williams and Spillane.
Yeah, no Spillane today either. I don't know if if you're just watching the game, I don't know how much they talked about that, but he didn't play, and they missed him.
Yeah,
they missed him.
You mentioned run fits. It was just the gaps were just right there for Cooks up the middle every
And
time.
he's good.
Oh, he's
I'm
good,
not saying that they made a bad running back
no one
look
was
good.
touching him.
But,
4 yards, 6 yards, 11 yards.
you're-
It was
you're
just
1,000%
Similarly
right.
with
The
Allen,
fits.
there were a lot of missed sacks that I'm like looking at Josh Allen being wide open.
That's what he does.
You have defenders standing near him, and they're just, I don't know if there was distractions or what
Davis
it was.
missed
but,
one.
Yeah, Davis. Yes, that was the one I was looking at.
Just that run defense just was absolutely terrible. Just terrible.
I mean, I have to give James Cook some credit too. I think he's
he's
a
good.
really
Yeah,
good
for sure.
player.
He's a good player.
If there's a little crease, he's going to find a way to do it.
But the creases weren't little.
No,
they weren't little.
The run fits were a problem, especially in the second half. But I even thought that the game got away from them early, and they couldn't really keep running him in the first half. But he was a going concern today, James Cook. They let Cook.
Yeah, they did. They did not.
I don't
listen
know
to
how
my
much
team.
he actually gave up, but I got Gonzalez on there. I mean, we were talking about it up in the press box.
There's
I
a
mean,
chance
he
he
got
allowed
lucky a
no
couple
catches,
times. Yeah,
but his guy was open every time that they targeted him.
yeah.
Even
Especially on
Evan
right
was
at the beginning.
upset.
Right at the beginning. That big crosser that, I mean, I thought I got to see it again. I still haven't been convinced that wasn't a catch.
So
when
it
he
looked
went out
like
of
he
bounds, I saw it a
toe-tapped the
couple
second
times.
toe, but
Yeah.
he might have hit his first foot instead of the ground. I don't know, if he got them both down, but they dodged a couple of bullets early in the game.
Yeah, watching live,
the
Evan
booty
thought he
play, like Fred said, that might have been overturned, and then the next drive they get a big play and replay assist overturns it.
Yeah, there it is.
Look
This
at it
we're
again.
looking at right now.
I'd like
but,
to see if we can get a slowed
Different
down
angle.
look.
There we go.
chasing.
So
Yeah, I mean,
Let's
it's
see
right
here.
in his hands.
Yeah,
right
but
there.
It wasn't a
So
catch.
there's a catch. One.
And it's for like a,
So now he has the ball. One. Yeah. I don't think he gets the second one down, Deuce.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad to see that, but
Yeah. He hit his foot.
yeah,
Like the second foot was coming down, and I think he hit his other foot, and that prevented it from coming down. But this is like when that ball's right in his hands.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to be bobbling like this. It probably would have been a touchdown if he had just caught it the first
I
time.
thought it was when it was coming down for sure.
Yeah, I think that Gonzalez is an underrated one because I'll bet you his numbers are going to look good. I'll bet you they didn't catch a lot of those passes, but his guy was open a lot.
Yeah.
Just the self. You said the self destruction on both sides of the ball, Freddie. The penalties, like they had that drive. I think it was the 24-21 drive. Patriots was still ahead, and they got a little something going. They got around midfield, and then it's
was that the
it's a
Woodson
it's a
holding?
false start on
yeah.
Vidarian Lowe, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Low.
Then it's followed by a holding call. It's
on
3rd and
Woodson.
25. Now they ended up with a punt on the interception.
Right.
It was a punt, but like that drive, I thought Drake was a little loose with a couple of throws.
Well,
I don't think Drake Maye played very well
Listen,
today.
second half, Drake Maye was off.
He did not play
Even
well.
the passes he completed were not accurate passes.
I didn't think some
lot
of
of
the
overthrown
some of the
passes
passes
to
he
Matt
completed
Collins.
early in the game. I mean, the booty one was great.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
a
that
beautiful, that was a beautiful
amazing.
throw.
That was a great pass.
But I didn't think a lot of the other ones
He had a lot of
were
overthrows.
great.
No.
Yeah, I agree, Kwani. I thought Hollins
for some
bailed him
reason.
out of one
Yes.
over the middle. It was kind of high.
Yep.
And some of the throws in the second half just looked indecisive.
Yep.
You know, I mean, this is by far his worst statistical game of the year. 14 for 23 for 155 and a pick, 62 passer rating.
And it's just
That
so weird 'cause
wasn't-
I thought he looked
wasn't-
so good out of the gate.
It wasn't
Like, I
Drake,
just-
Drake Maye.
No,
Right,
it
no,
looked like
not
he
at
was,
all.
That
Still don't
definitely
know what
not.
that
Good
means.
observation on that. No, he was just dealing so much right out of the gate, and I felt like, oh man, he's going to get into a mode. He's protected well. He's getting
He
comfortable.
was protected
and-
well. Look at these
I know.
these pockets
He's
he's
just staring
dealing
guys
with. He's
down,
just
and then
like
it's-
overshooting guys.
Yep.
No.
He had another one. Yeah, that's the one
That's
to
the one
Henry.
should have been picked off.
Yeah.
And then he
yeah.
got lucky when the one that was picked off close to, what was it, the New England
That was a good punt.
20.
That was a good
it
punt.
worked out.
I like the punt.
Yeah.
But it was just like,
That
right.
one's fine because that's 3rd and 25.
Exactly.
Just throw
Just
one
chuck
up
it up
there.
so you get a
See if you
PI.
get a penalty.
like-
That one I have no issue with.
Yeah.
I mean, but you could see how much higher he threw this too, like than he normally does.
Yeah.
I thought if Hollins just tries to get the ball here instead of
Jump
just
up.
throwing his hands up, he maybe
think he
does
gets
get
it?
the penalty because there's some contact here.
yes,
There's some hand fighting going on. Now, ideally, you'd like to see these get let go, but later in the game, they didn't let one go on Carlton Davis.
That was a bad call.
Yeah. So
They
I-
said he grabbed his shirt. He had his hand on his hip, but he grabbed nothing, and
so
he
there's
didn't impede him.
Another high throw,
Just
by
an
the way.
awful, awful call.
Yeah, I didn't like that call. I agree with Freddie on that one.
And that would have gotten the ball back, right?
Yep.
On that
No,
play?
that was 3rd down.
Or it made it fourth and
4.
well, yeah, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not telling you you're not
Yeah.
going to get the stop, but it wasn't like the
3rd and 4.
the one to Shakir was a 4th down.
Yeah.
But I think Shakir caught the ball, and Jones did a good job of fighting with him.
I think your tie goes to the offense.
Correct.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Right. And I think when Jones took possession of it, he was on the ground.
Right.
He took it away
Yeah.
from him on
No,
the ground.
tie goes to the offense.
Now, I thought that was kind of a close PI, too.
but it didn't matter.
No, I know. He caught it. I
Right.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
But related to all of that, and I'm not deflecting responsibility on the Patriots, I was really frustrated with the officiating for the sake of and we were making jokes in the press box, but the fact that the clock operator, there were so many mistakes, and I'm not also trying to come at that person. I'm sure there was a lot of confusion in the communication. But anytime there's a game where we talked about this, you hear so much from the refs, I get frustrated.
That's John Hussey.
Yes, exactly.
You tend to hear a lot from him.
Yes, he likes to talk. But that was just a bit, again, it's not a bad for the Patriots, it's just bad for the viewer, really.
This is a great play by both guys, by the way. I mean, watching
that was a
watching
really
the
nice
highlight
play,
of
yeah.
Shakir and Jones. Marcus Jones, man,
like,
I
who
know I
hasn't?
got a crush on him, but
Yeah.
he just plays so hard.
He's
He does.
feisty.
He's a fighter.
Some good tackles today,
Yeah.
too.
He's-
Again, he's just not afraid to.
He's a good tackler in the
throw it in
secondary.
there. Yep.
Well, it just
It's a frustrating game.
very
that's-
frustrating. You're up 21-0.
There's no
Yeah.
reason to lose a game up 21-0.
Nope.
No,
I don't
but-
care how much the other team is going to push back, whatever. You should be able to hold on to a 21-0 lead. Hopefully, it's a learning. Wow, big pick 6 for the Lions. Hopefully, it's a learning, situation for the Patriots, and they figure out.
Well, here's the thing. Next week, if you play run defense like you did today, next week, you're in a boatload of trouble
Oh, yeah.
because Jackson can run more than Allen. Now,
Well,
the
Jackson's
good news,
not running.
well, the good news is he can't pass like Allen can. So
Yeah, but Jackson's not going to run either.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry could do it.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry
No,
could do what
and-
James Cook did today.
you don't think Jackson will run at all? He's too hurt.
Yeah,
too banged up?
he hasn't been
It
running.
looks interesting.
He really hasn't
He
been running.
hasn't been, but you watch.
Just for the
You
Patriots.
watch.
I
Yeah.
would just say that I was figuring Cincinnati was going to win that game today, and then
So did I.
Baltimore 6 and
We all
8.
said it, yeah.
That might be an easier game next week. I still expect the Patriots to bounce back, but that's easy for me to say. They got to go out and do it.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson,
carries.
2 carries for 26 yards.
Yeah.
So he's not running very often.
But Derrick Henry.
But Derrick Henry,
had
11
100.
for a hundo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird game. Not a lot of plays. Doesn't seem like, like 25 carries, 12 passes. They didn't seem like they had the ball a lot in Baltimore.
Well,
No.
for those people that were afraid that the Patriots couldn't beat the same team 3 times in a season, you don't have to worry, you don't have to worry about that now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That I was expecting that on Tuesday.
You don't have to worry about
There's
that.
the
now.
Fred Kirsch silver lining.
Right.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
when we meet him again, it'll be 1-1.
yeah.
Well,
asked
and
it
it's just
before
like I said before you're here, Fred. It's just a reminder of what it's going to take to beat this Buffalo team, and what it takes to beat Josh Allen. And these are the kind of games that are going to be
He's a
happening for the
freaking
foreseeable
vampire.
future. Twice a year at least, you're going to have to face this guy.
Do you know
and-
they're 4-0 when allowing 31 or more points?
Is that right?
Bills.
Wow.
Or I don't know if they're 4-0. They've won 4 times while allowing 31 or more points.
Yeah. They can match
Like-
scores.
Yep.
You must have jinxed them with that dad
Well,
strength.
we come out of the first half with 24 points, end the game with 31. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's why I say everyone's looking at the defense, which they should, but the offense was just as culpable
Yeah.
in the second half.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, though, Fred. I would just give them a
4-0.
slight tip of the cap for that field goal at the end. I mean, still to get
Oh,
3 points in situational football,
absolutely
knowing what kind of game it was
No,
going to
listen,
be.
I absolutely give them credit for that. That was like saving grace. You know, You could have, Bills were going to get the ball to start the second half. You tack on that to make it a 3-score game, you know. And
can I be a little critical of that?
why?
Have a little pushback?
Of the time management?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine. But they ended up with 3.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they went about the whole drive for the exact reason that Mike said, recognizing who's on the other side. It's 21-7, and recognizing this is an important drive. We need points here. And I think that they came out and they were like, we're fine if we go in 21-7. If we get a field goal, we're fine. They're running the ball. They're letting the next play go down to the 2-minute warning. They had plenty of time in that drive. And ultimately, they don't take the timeout to let there was 23 seconds left, 26 seconds, whatever it was. Whatever the hometown clock operator decided was left in the game, or the half at the time.
Well, they had the runoff, the 10-second runoff.
Yeah, they could have used the timeout to avoid that. They chose not to,
Yeah.
which limited their plays. I think they played for a field goal, and I think that they could have gotten a touchdown there. I think they had plenty of time. I thought they were a little conservative in the approach there.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
offense was humming at that time.
Yeah. But like I said, you
Minor nitpick.
you come out of the first half 24-7 and you only score a touchdown in the second half. This is
Right.
too much of a trend.
Yep.
The second half production. And I know a lot of times, they took the foot off the gas, but
that's what everybody says.
that's what everyone says. But
And I keep saying, now, the Giants game, I think, is a little bit different, but there's probably a half dozen situations that
Yeah.
you're talking about,
Yeah.
Fred. And I keep saying the same thing. They've done a great job, Josh McDaniels in particular, of dialing stuff up, and he gets people off balance. You saw the stuff. There's a double pass today. There's reverses. There's this, that, the other thing, and everything is working. And then the other team sort of figures it out, and you sort of revert to the mean.
Yep.
Because you're not quite good enough to do what you did for 30 minutes today for 60 minutes. Certainly not against a good team. Today, they lost the game because it was a good team, and they were able to take advantage of it. You know?
Yeah.
But the second half thing is going to be something that's going to be a concern because they haven't been able to put 2 really good halves
What
together.
were Allen's final numbers?
Allen was 19 for 28 for 193 and 3 touchdowns, plus 11 carries for 48 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then Cook had how many yards?
107.
Yeah.
22 for 107.
Yeah.
And 2 touchdowns.
Just looking back through the last few games, that Henderson touchdown and one other touchdown. They have 2 second half touchdowns going back the last 4 games. One against the Jets, none against Cincinnati, none against the Giants, and just that one Henderson one. And then if you go back to Tampa Bay, you had a touchdown out of the gate, and then it was punt, downs, punt, interception, and another touchdown there at the end to seal it up. But I think it is something, last 4 games, second half.
And even
performance
today, it's
offensively.
like at least that, in some of these other situations that, that they didn't have a lot of offense, but they put together today, like the touchdown today was a broken play.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
all Henderson.
Right.
Yeah.
That was an unbelievable individual effort
Right,
by
just-
Henderson. I compared it to Marcus Allen,
Yeah.
Fred.
No, absolutely. There's no saying they would have drove down the field on that.
Right.
On that series.
They had another chance right after that,
Right.
and they went 4 and out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Drake did not look settled in this. I didn't think really in the game, but especially in the second half.
Yeah.
If you're-
I think they get a lot of work to do between now and,
Yeah.
and Sunday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're Vrabel, what are you telling your coordinators when it comes to these adjustments? Because obviously they're the ones doing the play calling. But
Well, I'm telling Jeremy Springer, clean it up. Clean it up.
Is he on notice?
Well, he is, and that special teams are. Like,
Yeah.
There's no reason
By the
for
way,
that.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Mike, when you rattled off all the penalties on the Ray Day, all the returns, but they also had a good return wiped out by a
Right.
penalty by Mapu. I don't know if you.
Oh, yeah.
I might have been when hosts aren't listening. You might,
No,
have,
you're right.
included
Well,
that in your
panelists
rant.
aren't listening.
yeah, so you got to clean that up.
it ended up being
Special
22
teams.
yards
I
for Kyle.
just think with the defense, I just think they're undermanned. I just don't
Today
get
they definitely were.
Yeah.
They missed Spillane today.
Yeah.
Yeah. They miss Spillane,
Yeah.
like you said, Paul. Filling those gaps, the speed, getting there in time.
Yeah,
That
and,
they were
and that's
missing
what I've
that.
been talking
And
about with the
obviously
other
they're
teams.
missing Milton Williams.
Yeah, Milton Williams is a good player. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously they miss him, but like to not have Spillane in the middle of your defense, That's gonna
every down
it's gonna
player.
yeah, it's gonna make
I
a
was
difference.
hopeful for Christian Ellis, and I don't think he had a terrible game.
No, he had some
Made a
good,
couple
like
plays.
that
He
breakup.
made a
and-
few plays, but he's not. He doesn't have the
Yeah, I think those guys struggle.
instincts of Spillane. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not
They all had
telling you that it wouldn't have
sparks.
happened if Spillane played, but those
Yeah.
guys, Gibbons, Ellis,
No,
Tavai,
it's
I think
just-
they're all limited.
It's got the vibe of the Patriots defenses we've seen where you take away their most talented guys like Landry are banged up. There just aren't guys to make plays. There aren't guys winning one-on-one.
And when you're playing the Bills, you're not going to shut them down.
Yeah.
Right.
So you just need that one or two plays, like in the second half, that get you off the field.
And
they just
especially
couldn't
when
do
you
it.
have a situation like your favorite punching bag, and you were dead on, R.A. McDermott, right? He like when it was 21-0, me and Fred were having some fun with McDermott, and you can't. They were so fortunate to get back in this game because their coach didn't really give them an opportunity. When you got to do what Mike Dussault said, and you got to recognize the way the game is declaring, and the other team is red hot here. I can't just punt it back. They punted twice on 4th and manageable from the Patriots side of the field. You can't do that. Like you can't, especially the second one. Like it was 3rd and like 17, and they run like a quick screen to Shakir for like 8, which to me is a call. Like that's a call that I make when I'm planning on going for it on 4th down. I want to get half of it back. If I were Buffalo, I'd really look at him and I'd say he might be holding us back a little bit.
Yeah, maybe he knew a little bit more though today. I don't know. It worked out. Yeah.
He had a feel.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I can just see who won the game and just decide that everything
No,
he did
but
was
maybe
right.
he-
But I think he put his team in
Yeah.
trouble.
Risk,
But
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I thought they were a little bit more aggressive too in the first half with some of the blitzes and stuff, and it felt like they didn't get a lot lot of that in the second half. It
Patriots,
just-
you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, they were dialing some
early
things
3rd
up that
down,
they didn't
they
do.
sent the sink at
Yeah.
Josh Allen's. Like both linebackers and Marcus Jones
Yeah.
came on one
Five
play.
guys.
And
at
those
him.
plays were gone, and then you could just see Allen doing what he does. Like these ones. Yeah, sending the blitz. I
look.
wonder if
Play
they
right
pulled
there,
off
yep.
on it.
Look, you got Ellis, Gibbons, and Marcus Jones all coming on this play.
Stunting. Shoot, both those guys. Shoot, both those guys could have got home. Is that my brother Luke?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It was right there.
I know everybody.
It was right there.
24-7 coming out of the half. It's almost like that 2006 Colts game.
Oh yeah, it was kind of similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
It
can
was
feel
kind of
that.
similar, Fred.
I feel that. They just started heating up, man. and-
You know,
This was worse
you're
because
feeling
because
good
they were on the
coming out of the
road.
half. You're thinking, okay, we got to make our
done.
hotel reservations. and, you know,
Fred's like, I gotta go find those hats.
This was worse because it was at home. At least that was on the road. The other team came back on the road. But
Yeah,
like I said, look at it as a learning experience. You gotta get better from it.
yeah.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, just a wake up call. You hope that this before the playoffs, before these next 3 games.
But
that they
now
get
every
turned
game.
around.
Now, do you have to go 3-0 now
Absolutely.
For what?
Just
to
to-
get a home game in the playoffs and
No.
win, well,
I thought
to
you
win the
meant in
division?
general.
No. You probably have to go 3-0 to get the bye.
Yeah.
Depending
Or
on what
you know,
Well,
happens.
let's
to feel
just
good
assume
about it.
the Bills win out.
Yeah. So if the Bills win out, the Patriots just need to beat both. Sorry, the Jets and the Dolphins.
Right.
But they don't have to beat the Ravens.
Okay.
But you just probably pretty much ensured that final game here
Yeah.
against
Right.
Miami.
A tie would
Yeah.
go to the Patriots in the event that
As long as they beat the Bills, I mean the Jets and the Dolphins. 'cause
provided
those are-
that the 2 losses are against Buffalo and Baltimore, a tie would go to the Patriots.
Yep.
Based on divisional record.
Yeah.
And I know no one wants to win the division that way.
No.
Like you're in
No.
control of the division. I get what Mike is talking about. This is why I offered Mike a little bit of an apology upstairs because I get it. Like the division was there. You wanted to make sure you knocked the door down.
I had it all
yourself.
set up to bring caps in for
Yeah.
everybody.
I know. I
Don't
actually
even
talked
tell
about it
me.
on the Sports Hub.
Alex
I
and I
told
were
Chris
talking
Gasper
about
that
it.
you were bringing hats and T-shirts down.
Put them on ice. Few weeks.
Yeah.
We'll have
Deep
it.
breath, everyone.
But it is. It's a challenge, and I mean, I know Baltimore struggled this year. Haven't seen any of what that game looked like for them, but I just respect that franchise. I respect how hard they play. They are a wounded dog right now. Lamar Jackson is hurt, but he is still a
still a
talented
fighter.
dude.
Sean McVay, 4th and 4, down 7-0 from the other team's 45-yard
kinda game
line. You
it
go
is.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the game is declared. I need points. Playing a good offense.
Did Mahomes get hurt today?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
he
looked
went down.
possibly serious. I
I
didn't
saw
see
him on
it.
the ground, and it looked like it might be serious.
They were
Okay.
doing the ACL test on the field, but I don't know. It didn't look that bad,
But
like
he
the
was,
replay. But he looked like he was in a
immobile,
lot
and
of
then
pain.
the
A lot of
trainer
pain.
went and had to lean in to hear what he was saying, so it looked very serious. But no updates yet. I'll try to keep my eye out.
my legs hurt.
He did it.
You can't say
Buffalo's
enough
got
about
to
that
be
that
licking
guy.
their chops
I
right
mean,
now. though. If
you
I was
can't ignore that
Buffalo-
guy.
I mean, if I was
So,
Buffalo,
you
coming
want
out
to know
of
the
this
thing
game,
that I worry about? Bigger picture. The thing that I would worry about the most
Mm-hmm.
for the Patriots is now if I host Buffalo in a playoff game, there's nothing I can do that's going to tell Buffalo that they can't win.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Right.
Like, how much worse is it going to be than it was in the first half?
Right.
sure.
So
just wait him
now-
out. Wait him out.
Yep.
Beat him at the end.
Yep. That's
But
the
that's-
worst. That's the worst thing that happened today.
But that's I think in context of a young team with a young quarterback who's never had a comeback victory like that. Like I mean that's the next mountain to cross for this team, and until they prove to not only Buffalo but to any team that they're capable of hitting a lull in the second half in the third quarter, you don't play great, but then when it's winning time, you saw Buffalo today. They didn't blink. I mean they didn't care, and in the press box you knew it. You knew that they had the capability to score, and that's exactly
So
what
the
they did.
last drive, or the last drive for the Patriots, they've got what 2:43 left, 3 timeouts, or in
I think 2 timeouts maybe, but
yeah, and
The
I don't
last
know.
drive for the Patriots
Yeah.
on offense,
Yeah.
they had plenty of time.
They had plenty of time.
More than 2 minutes and all 3 timeouts.
Yeah, there's 43 left.
I think this is part of the second half for May where he just looked a little indecisive, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the play calls were, but to me, I'd be calling slants, quick slants, those types of things, quick outs, get it out of the ball, his hands quickly, but get a rhythm going.
Yeah.
Get a rhythm going because we got 65 yards to go, and it didn't I don't know, the ball wasn't coming out of his hands, and then obviously on that last play, he had nowhere to go, and he rolls out a little bit and gets it
He looked
batted
like
down.
he was thinking too much.
Yeah.
Like ironically.
Yeah, you needed 6 yards, I think, on that last play, and I don't know if I was May at that point, I would have just taken off. But I don't know.
that second down sack killed him.
Yeah.
On
Second
the
and
last
5.
play, that Joey Bosa was in his face.
Yeah, and he knocked it down.
Yeah, you think he could have run by him?
I think he could have.
Oh, I mean, maybe, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Bosa's not 100%. I think
he's
could've.
not. He's
Yeah.
not, and you could tell he wasn't 100%
Also, why
today.
did he
But I
look so
thought he was
angry at
right
the
there.
end? He looked
I
angry
don't know.
after
He had
the
like a
play.
3-yard gap, and he knocked it down. I think
He could have. I'm not telling you you're wrong.
Yeah,
Not telling
I think
you
May
you're wrong.
could have got, but you just got to do something.
We're
You
getting
know,
a little
fight
help
for it.
here in Denver. Here, the Packers have an early 3-0 lead and look like they're
Okay.
driving.
Well,
Well, I mean, you're still fighting for the bye or
know,
not, Fred? We're just
yeah.
going to take our ball and go home.
no.
Still got things to accomplish
I'm
here.
just-
Wait, look at the
I
standings
just-
right here on the screen.
I
This
just
is when I
hate-
have to play the role of Fred Kirsch and rally the troops.
I know, but I just don't like depending on other people. We had it.
yeah.
I want to
you're
control
very
my own
right,
destiny.
Fred, you are correct.
Control my destiny.
I know,
how I
but there's
feel.
nothing that can
You can't do anything
Can't
right
change
now.
it.
I see what you're
Can't
saying.
change that part of it.
Yeah.
You can hope you get a little bit of luck.
I will say the silver lining, like you said, Deuce, it definitely is the fact that there's so much to learn. And I know it's corny to say it, but there's a lot to learn before the Patriots head into the playoffs of how they really can solidify a
Yeah.
deep run.
Well, and let's see how they react to some adversity. I mean, and this
Mhm.
is a team that they've had some adversity, they've had some issues,
sure.
but haven't lost a game since September, and we'll know what that felt like to
Mm-hmm.
see them lay an egg against Pittsburgh and have to bounce back from that, have to bounce back from the Raiders' loss in Week 1 and go to Miami. So we've seen them regroup and rehuddle, but that was a young team. I don't even know if that team knew what their identity was yet. So I think this is the moment when Mike Vrabel would say, you'll find out about your identity when things aren't going well. So when you go into a game where you give up 35 points to the Bills and you had it in hand and you let it slip away, what do they have next week in Baltimore against just a tough team?
And the
I
good
mean,
news
it's
is you shouldn't have the ability to lose a shootout next week. The one thing I think we all kind of wondered and worried about was this team's ability to win a shootout. Well, they got in a shootout today and they couldn't win it.
yeah,
But I don't think Baltimore has the ability to get you in a shootout.
yeah.
I don't think their offense is
But
that good.
to me, this ended up not being a shootout only because one team was shooting in this first half, the
Yeah.
other
And
wasn't.
other
You're
shot-
right. It
the
was
other
a weird-
shot
it was
had
a weird
second-
shootout.
Yeah,
I
the
see what
second
you're
half, another team was shooting and you weren't. So
Yeah.
it was
shooting at different times.
it wasn't back and forth.
Just shoot
you
the
know?
whole game.
Right.
They were
and let-
shooting
don't
the
let
whole
them
game, but
shoot.
one team was missing throughout the whole half.
Right.
right.
So accurate.
No, you're right, Fred. It was a weird shootout.
Yeah. Well, people on the line.
Yeah. Injured, just quickly, Carlton
Carlton
Davis was
did
questionable.
what he does.
Yeah.
He goes out. He's out
didn't
for a
came
little
back
bit.
in.
Usually with a
And then he
groin
comes back
injury,
in.
you're not
He
coming
was
back.
out for a little longer
Yeah.
today
Yeah,
than
yeah.
he
And then he
normally
came back
is,
to the
though.
end.
And Chucky
Yeah.
Trees came in. I thought
Had a
did a
nice
good job.
pass
Had a nice,
defense, yeah.
He had nice coverage on a deep ball down the sideline
Yeah.
on one play.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that's all we had. All right. Like you said, let's get to the phone lines. Rhino in North Carolina. Hi, Rhino.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Thanks for taking my call. Obviously, a tough day as a Patriot fan. You all hit on kind of what I wanted to talk about. It just felt like the defense was a guy short today. And it takes me back to the trade deadline and, determining not to add to this team. It felt like they needed another edge player. Allen had a lot of time in the second half. The Bills killed us on the scramble drill. And I just worry about that because I do believe in this team in the playoffs that they may be a guy short.
Yeah, certainly without Mil Williams and Robert Spillane too off the top. I mean, I kind of agree with your point. I mean, you're seeing Elijah Ponder now get some opportunities, but they are a guy short with Landry, practicing just once during the week. So it's apt. I mean, like I said, it reminded me of the Patriots defense the last few years where they didn't have the guys to make the plays. They're not really turning the ball over that much, and they couldn't come up with any negative plays, And I think when you look at, the DVOA thing, which is really what that measures, how efficient you are play to play against certain opponents. I mean, they're 25th in the league after last week. I mean, that's what they look like today, a team that struggled to make plays and get off the field against a good quarterback.
100%. All right. Marty is in Washington.
Marty.
Hey, what's up, Paulie?
Hey.
Paulie Fred.
What's
Hey,
up?
look, I'm a long-time caller, man. I've been listening to you guys back before you were podcast. When we used to do it on the computer.
Internet radio.
You're a real one.
Like a real one. And you guys, when you guys used to fight with Andy for like 5-10 minutes at a time, the whole
Times.
Hey, that game, special teams, like they were porous, man. Like I think somebody brought it up. I think Deuce might have brought it up. The Bills were starting at the 40-yard line or 50-yard line, cross midfield. Borealis, Andy, he stopped looked like a run back,
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, the first
It was
kickoff,
awful.
I think he saved a touchdown.
Yeah, it's
Then,
like they
then the
might as
last
well
one,
just
I
kick
think
it out of the
Woodson
end
saved a
zone.
touchdown. Yeah, they started to do that.
Yeah.
Both teams actually did it the last few times.
Yeah, and Woodson stopped that one in the second half, but
Yep.
that guy was cross midfield. I mean, that was just awful, special teams wise. I think that they really missed Milton Williams big time. I mean, I think that's going to help them. He's going to be available, I think, for the Ravens, right?
No.
No, he couldn't be back
No?
till Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
And
No, sorry,
Jets,
the Jets.
Jets, sorry,
The
yeah,
Jets
second to
game
last.
is the first game he is eligible to return. Jets.
Oh man, that sucks.
I know.
Sorry.
That's why I was saying early,
Yeah.
if they can't shore up the middle of the line, it's going to be a long day next Sunday. So they got some work to
It
do.
is going to be a long day. I'll tell you, I mean, not for nothing. I hate to blame it on the refs, but as far as momentum goes, that Carlton Davis PI was. If you don't call a PI all game long, and you call it on a third down play in the fourth quarter, that's.
No, that was a bad call, but that's the only one I would complain about. Like everybody
Right,
was all
that's-
over the refs. That's the only one.
No, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine, but you just can't call that on a third down.
Oh, I know.
I thought that was ticky-tack.
Yeah.
It was a 3rd and 4, but that's okay. But still, I mean, momentum-wise, that it helps the defense. Like, oh, we stopped them. We can get it on 4th down. Maybe we can stop them on this one and force a punt, or maybe they'll
Yeah,
kick the
see, I
Yeah,
think
he
he's
has it a little
He's
bit.
grabbing
He
him more
does
than
have
you
a-
give him credit for, but I thought that was ticky-tack.
Yeah. I don't
And
think
also Marty Mapu's that was a ticky-tack call on his hold on the that kick return when Williams took it back to the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that was.
Ev said he has to let him go there.
Like that.
Yeah.
I didn't see the replay.
Yeah, but I do know that at one point, Drake threw a deep ball and it didn't connect, and he got hit, and then he came back up, and then after that, he was thrown off.
So I agree with you, and I think that's a great observation. And I wondered the same thing. I didn't want to bring it up because
His
I
head
don't
didn't
know.
hit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about something got hurt
Yeah, maybe.
because I do think he looked better at the very start of the game than he did, like, say, the balance of the last
He
three
absolutely
quarters.
did.
And even on that last possession, it looked like Trevian Henderson broke off to the sideline.
Yeah.
I guess for the timeout, and then Drake just threw it to nobody.
Yeah, that was just
It looked like-
miscommunication.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody said that Drake thought it was an obvious hold, and he just threw it out there. Defensive hold.
I know,
Let
but
me guess, that was a fan.
you can't do that on the. That's like a young kid. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't hope for the
No, I know.
officials to make a call for you on at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think anyway.
Yeah, this is one of those games.
So-
I know Vrabel's been downplaying the penalties all year. This is one of those games. Penalties had a big part
Yeah.
in why you lost.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Well,
I
I'll tell you
undersold the defense 5 for 5. The
Thanks,
Bills
Marty.
were in the red zone.
Yeah.
Really, because they ended up 5 for 6, but they took a knee at the end.
Right down. Just interesting note as the next gen stats came out. Highest man coverage rate of the season for the Patriots, 51%. Other highest was week 1, 46. So they played an extreme amount of man defense tonight for whatever it's worth.
Yeah. Now I don't know how much to necessarily say, well, that was a mistake, because I don't
No.
think they really carved them up.
No.
But they did, after a while, they did whatever they wanted to do on offense.
It's an interesting approach. I mean, that's one of those
We
buzz
can't cover
lines.
tight ends.
No.
That's a problem. That's been a problem all year.
Yep.
Going back to training camp. So it's something to think about for next year when you're trying to improve. And, when people are calling and ask us the draft, when we talk about the defensive end and the edge class,
Exactly.
games like this are why.
Which Matt actually asked you about in pregame.
Christian
about-
McCaffrey touchdown.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Oh, he played.
Some of us
Right,
have some.
right.
Some of
You
us
got
have
Mr.
some.
Miyagi in
Things on the
there.
line.
Yeah, he's fine.
This is a win and in game for Paulie's fantasy.
That's what we're here for, Paul.
We got
Your
you.
fantasy team.
We're heading to DC. Herb
Herb.
or Herb?
Hey,
Hey,
what's going on, guys?
Hi.
what up?
I know everybody's probably a little disappointed today, but with Mahomes going down today, obviously I don't want to wish injury to nobody, but with Mahomes going down, and it looks like obviously the Cincinnati Bengals were eliminated today, it might be like a little silver lining going to the playoffs that two of the big dogs might not be around for a playoff run. So obviously these are two less the higher level players that we have to overcome. But my question is this, and it's a quick question. What is it about the red zone defense, specifically today, that give us issues, right? Is it as simple as Milton Williams not, playing? Or is it a quote unquote like a systematic issue that could bounce into the playoffs?
Yeah, it's not a Milton Williams issue, because it's been an issue for 14 games. But I don't have the answer. And they seem like they play better defense when the drive starts than when the drive ends. Vrabel keeps talking about this, and I don't really have an explanation for it, but he's right. Observationally, he's right. The Patriots defense is fine as long as they can get that stop right away. Once the other team gets a first down or two, it's like, well, they're gonna get down there, and maybe they'll kick a field goal instead of a touchdown. But Mike keeps saying, our guys, we need to be able to say, okay, it's okay if we allow a first down. We can still get off the field. They seem like they get really down on themselves, and then it snowballs.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it is a bit of a talent issue of just in that kind of space, you need guys who can win quick and take advantage of one-on-one matchups and quickly disrupt the rhythm of the play. And I think they're really struggling to do that right now. Didn't feel like I saw a lot of Barmore tonight, inside, but it's just the backup guys. And again, Harold Landry being banged up. Didn't see a ton out of Chase on tonight. Elijah Ponder, just the pass rush overall, just not effective. And I think that's a big reason why too.
So do you guys think? Mike, you mentioned that they were pretty aggressive early on.
Felt like it, yeah.
And then did they not do any of that afterwards, or was it just not effective when they tried it in the second half? Because there's no question that Allen had more time in the second half.
To my eye, it was they kind of pulled off on the blitzing. And I might be wrong on that. I just was seeing, except to me, it felt like consistent 4-man rushes. I think there was even a 3-man where they dropped the guy out. I don't know. I need to go back and look, but it just.
You think they overthought the second half? It's like, they know that
we're going to heat them up in the first, and now we're going to drop guys out.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, but I mean, whether or not they didn't go after him as much. They didn't get there as much. That's unquestionable. I don't know if they tried or they just weren't
see
successful.
as many games, up front.
I will also say, I want to give the Patriots defense a little bit of slack because, okay, so the other team, Buffalo was 5 for 5. Josh Allen is a really difficult guy to defend in the red zone for obvious reasons, right? When a guy can do what he can do with his legs and his power, like the touchdown pass to the second one to Knox, I think that was the last go-ahead touchdown, right? I think they had the touchdown run by Cook, called back for the holding call, which, by the way, touchdown overturned by penalty, Patriots fans. Next play, touchdown.
Yeah.
It looked like Allen had that perfect scenario for him where he's got the guys on an island. He looked like he could run there. And then he decided to throw it. He's a really hard guy. I'm not telling you that you should allow 5 and 5, but right here, you're really compromised because he easily can get a 15-yard touchdown run. He's done it countless times. If he gets by that first guy, you have faith that the other two guys are going to keep him out of the end zone on that overhead look, and then he just throws that's a beautiful pass. I mean, that's not terrible coverage by Gibbons, right?
Yep.
It's like sometimes, Mike says it a lot. Sometimes the other guys make plays too.
Yeah. Just digging a little deeper in that. On all the third downs, they sent 4 rushers 6 times and 6 once. The one time they send the 6, they got the sack.
Oh,
this is the whole game. This is the whole game. But the 6 other third downs where they only rushed 4, they did not register a single pressure on third down. Josh Allen was 5 of 6.
So how do they come up? Oh, this is not all the third downs were passes, I think, because there was 14 third downs.
Dropbacks.
Yeah. And how many were the dropbacks?
That's just third down were 7 total.
And 6 of them they only rushed 4?
Correct. And they did not register a pressure on
So this is how your mind can play tricks on you. They weren't aggressive in the game. They were aggressive on a play. It worked.
Right.
Now, the argument would be like, well, it worked. Why didn't you try it more often?
Yeah. Overall, for the total dropbacks, they rushed 6 twice, and they registered 1 pressure, 1 sack. When they're rushing 5, 30% pressure rate, a little bit better. Rushing 4, 21.1. It's just not great pressure. Not great, but this is one of the bottom 4 pressure numbers overall. And, it is Josh Allen.
Interesting numbers.
But, yeah.
Oh, still something to look at. All right, let's head to Toledo. Paul.
Hi, everybody. Long-term Pats fan, over 50 years.
Wow.
50 years, Fred. That's longer than you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an old dude.
You don't sound.
You sound young.
Yeah.
I'd like to make 3 points. First, nobody likes losses for sure.
First point.
But I would say that a loss a few games before the playoffs doesn't hurt, especially for a team that was on a long winning streak like ours. And for one thing, it gives Vrabel and company something to work on. Areas that they feel need some tweaking. The second thing is that I think one of the driving forces in the Patriots, winning streak here is this seeking for perfection. They felt that we haven't reached our peak yet, and they came close that first half. And maybe they felt that's it. We got as close as we could and to what we're capable of, and it was a total backing down in the second half. And Paul, I know you said that certainly the Bills now see some weakness in the pass. I'd say I'd look at it the opposite way. Bills looked awful that first half. They hardly looked like a great team.
I agree.
They hardly looked like a great team.
I agree. And they're going to think to themselves, we can't play worse than that, and we still won the game. We completely capitulated for 30 minutes, and they still couldn't put us away.
Yeah.
That would worry me.
I say 28
yes,
minutes.
Paul, but against the moribund, against the moribund Pats team in the second half, they're not going to get that in the playoffs. Pats will fight, I think, better.
Oh, yeah. The Patriots won't roll over for anybody. I agree with you, Paul.
Yeah.
I think their toughness, to me, is beyond reproach.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. In all, I think this was a great. It was a. I don't know. It's a redeeming loss, I think, and somehow they really needed this.
I understand what you're saying. It's just hard to. It's hard to reconcile a 21-0 lead that you blew. But this is one of those things when you always change it when you say beforehand. Like me and Mike were talking, Fred, if you said like before the game, it's going to be a shootout, Bills are going to come out on top 35-31. Okay, all right, we're here. You know, we're not going anywhere. But then you find out you had a 21-0 lead. That changes it. You know, if you had said, you know what, they've won 10 in a row, it might not be the worst thing to not have like a 14-game winning streak going into the playoffs. Sure, I can understand that. I don't want to blow 21-point leads to lose the game.
Yeah, I don't
like that. I don't think there's a lot of good that can come out of blowing that game.
I don't think this is ridiculous. If we were the 4 and whatever Patriots from last year, okay, we battled with the Bills. Or if this was early in this year's season and we didn't know who this team was and we lost 35-31, okay, but we're as good as this team.
Oh yeah.
You know,
today in the first half, there's no argument to be made.
Yeah.
Which team was
and a
better.
good team doesn't blow a 21-0 lead.
Yeah.
So
No,
you gotta. We got work to do. We got work to do before next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, we are going to take a quick break. We're seeing all of the phone lines lighting up, so call in. We'll take those calls right after the break. We'll be right back.
This Patriots postgame show is brought to you by Massachusetts 250 campaign, commemorating a history of possibility. Plan your revolutionary weekend at massachusetts250.org. And by Brunt Workwear. They make work boots and apparel that are built for the job site. Their gear is comfortable, durable, and named after the real workers in the trades that helped design it. Save $10 on your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with coupon code PATS.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas, and the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas, and the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
This episode of the Patriots Postgame Show is presented by DraftKings.
This is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
Henderson cuts it left, rushes to the left side, into the end zone. That's 2 for Trevian Henderson, and the Patriots take the lead.
Join the conversation by calling into the show at 855-PATS-500 or email us at podcast@patriots.com.
He throws, floats it in the end zone, touchdown, Patriots! And who caught it? Trevian Henderson, a hat trick.
Live from our studio inside Gillette Stadium, this is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
Of the Patriots Postgame Show, the Autodesk Building a Legacy segment, because it's time now for building that next legacy, presented by Autodesk, the official design and make platform for the New England Patriots. Autodesk Construction Cloud is a platform trusted by contractors, owners, and our New England Patriots to design and build the next legacy. Guys, this is only the third time we were picking a legacy here off of a loss, but I'm going to go with the actual loss itself, I know, Fred, did you get some vibes of 07 we talked about a little in the pregame where maybe some people say we could have lost a game, it would have done us well. Teddy Bruschi took issue with that when I asked him about it once. But I think,
shock.
But this is a Patriots team, and look, there's no guarantee. Just because you lose a game to Josh Allen doesn't mean, oh, now we understand what we need to do to win. But I thought that today's game was a perfect example of what playoff games are like, what it's going to be like for this Patriots team having to go against Josh Allen, who is going to be a year in and year out MVP candidate. It's not enough to score points in the first half. You've got to play well in the second half. You've got to find ways to make defensive plays. So I think this game gave Mike Vrabel, his coaching staff, plenty of ammunition to highlight what this team needs to do and maybe some of the flaws that are, have carried themselves over through the bye. So building a legacy, you're not going to win every game. We're going to build a legacy off of a loss today. And hopefully the team gets that message and uses it to grow when they have to go down to Baltimore next week. So there you go. A loss.
done.
We're going to make the best of it.
I like
Well
that.
done.
Yeah. Good. Good.
That was well done, Deuce.
Thank
Wow,
you.
I just
Thank you very
clap.
much.
Well crafted.
No, but it wasn't just like, Johnny Sunshine,
Yeah.
that I can bring with me on Wednesday when I go to talk to on my shows. That was like, I think that you can benefit.
Exposed, Paul. They were exposed.
So I'm going to give you, it's funny, we started talking about this upstairs a little bit, like what will the narrative be? And, it's going to be like, oh, a reality check. I'm going to make a prediction that those two in particular, Mike and Tony, will go the opposite way. No, I think they played a really good game. I think they showed you how good they can be. They lost the game. The other team didn't beat them. They lost. They just needed to play better in the second half. Especially Felger, he'll be very obstinate
Right,
because everybody else will go the other way.
See.
Right.
Yeah.
What is the mood out there, though? I'm curious. I mean, we've heard from a couple fans, but Fred, what about you on your blog today? How are fans taking it? It's hard to blow a lead, but still,
No, they were livid.
Yeah.
it's still just such a universe away from what we've seen in the past couple of years, though. So there's part of me that was like, well, at least it was a good game to watch. Like, it was frustrating, but like, you never felt like, man, they're completely outclassed down there. Like, we have no chance. Like, I said before the game, I had a 35-33 score, and I said it was going to come down to the end, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, this is one of those games that everybody kind of had this kind of a game, and that's what it was. It didn't go the way everybody felt it would, the route to get there, but 27-24, 30, what did you say, 33-31?
That was, my prediction was 35-33.
35-33.
Which I don't even know how
this
you
is the
get
kind
That's
of
what we
game.
expected.
This is the way the game, I mean, I really like your thing because you can build, something to build on. That was a playoff type game today. So maybe you got a little playoff experience before the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to suffer the loss with the finality of your season being over.
If you're going to blow a 21-point lead,
Or in the regular season, not in the playoffs.
Then in January,
Right.
and you got humbled a little bit. Not that I'm saying that they were too cocky going in or anything like that, but
No, you're
everyone
right.
needs a kick in the
A
ass
reminder.
sometimes, and maybe today was the day. And if they come back and blow out the Ravens, great.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows how quick it can slip away.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have it just like that. I mean, ask the Falcons from that Super Bowl 50.
What I want is Drake Maye to watch the game from the perspective of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And say, this is who you can be. You can be this guy.
I think that's a great observation, Fred, of just even don't worry.
Yeah.
You're down by a few scores out of the gate. Don't
Yeah.
sweat. Keep doing what you do. Make your plays.
Yeah.
Chip away at it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to keep the conversation going right after the break. We're going to head to the podium as well. So stick around. The Patriots Postgame Show. We'll be right back.
This Patriots Postgame Show is brought to you by Pepsi. Game day is here, so stock up now. Grab a refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar 12-pack now because tailgating deserves better. And by Tostitos. Football fans know traditions matter. They are what inspires us to make our masa and Tostitos the traditional way, starting with whole corn kernels. Discover your next tradition this football season. Head to the store, grab your Tostitos team bag, and scan the code for a chance to score an epic experience with the Patriots. Tostitos, tradition matters.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience,
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas, and the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
We want to hear from you. So call the hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcast@patriots.com. Now, back to the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings.
Welcome back into the Patriots Postgame Show. It's that time of the show where we have a full house. Matt Smith, Paul Perillo, I'm Kwani Lunis, Mike Dussault, and Fred Kirsch. I almost forgot your name. Goodness gracious.
It's Roger Federer. It's Roger Federer.
I'd rather be
Whatever you
forgotten
want to
today.
be today.
Yeah.
Did Fred win on straight sets today, do you think? Or?
I believe he had mixed doubles with Muffy.
Love.
Okay.
Matt,
But
you-
he did win. Did you win?
No.
No.
Much like the Patriots.
Much like the Patriots.
No,
You couldn't.
come
Look, he can't
on,
even, he can't even pretend.
We're simpatico. If they lose, I lose.
Serving volley game was off today.
He's an empath. Matt.
Everybody makes fun of this sweater, but I
It's a
think you all secretly
Wait, why
like
do they
it.
make fun of the sweater?
People, they just
say
I
tennis
don't.
things
I
about
don't
it.
make fun of it at all because
Neither do I.
it's a very nice sweater.
It is a very nice sweater.
And I'm
Blue
being
and
dead
red.
serious. It's a tennis sweater.
It is a
And
tennis
I- and
sweater.
Cricket, yeah.
I call you Federer
Okay,
when
but
you
you're-
wear it
but
because
you're-
it's
you're
a
a
tennis
tennis
You look
sweater.
classy.
But you're a
Wear it at
tennis
the
guy.
yacht club,
Thanks,
too.
You're
Quan.
classing up the place.
I
Thanks,
like
Quan.
I like the sweater, and Ginger Perillo would be very happy because she made Paul wear a lot of those, like growing up.
Is that
I
right?
didn't know your mom's name was Ginger. Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
That's a fun name.
There's not enough Gingers anymore.
Yeah.
Virginia.
Just a little baby Ginger.
Her name is Virginia. And then,
Ginger.
you know, she went by
Choose name
Ginger.
I like
I don't
that.
see baby
My
Ginger.
father would
though.
say, Gingy! Change the channel.
All right, Matt, you were listening to some sound for us.
Yeah, so
Anything stood
let's
out?
just get right to it. And I think it was a pretty even-keeled Mike Vrabel who met with the media after today's loss.
You know, the one when we had an opportunity to make a play, we weren't able to make it. You know, penalties, and that's how this game goes. You know, a few small plays make the difference. We were very prepared for this team. We were going to need 60 minutes to beat this team. This is a good football team, and we had a lot of good football in there, and we had some. You know, a lot of plays that, you know, a few plays that we'd like to have back that we'll have to learn from them.
You talk often about complementary football.
Mm-hmm.
How much did the return maybe by Davis to start the second half, 58 yards, and some of the issues that you had with the
Well, that was
kick
been a
return?
strength of ours, and you know, we knew going in that it would be a good test and a great challenge, and you know, so again, just you know, they're too good to give them short fields and. Turnover, field position in games like this is critical. Making them be able to drive it and somehow along the way get a stop, and you know, so that wasn't the only play. That was certainly one that we need to get back, and again, that's been a strength of ours, and I'm confident that it'll be a strength of ours going forward.
Bills only had 14 yards of offense in the first quarter, 3 punts, and then 5 straight touchdowns. What changed, do you think, for them?
They were able to get the running game going. We missed tackles. We didn't build a good enough wall. Didn't get off on third down. Weren't able to create any turnovers and or get any stops in the red zone. It's not no secret, you know what I mean? Called the same stuff. They called the same stuff, and we just have to be able to take advantage of those opportunities that we get. To get the drive stopped, and whether that's a penalty or one play or a third down conversion, and we just got to be able to learn from it.
Mike, is this an opportunity for your team to learn from this situation second half? Is that basically what you told them after?
Sure, that's exactly what I told them. I said we have an opportunity to improve like we have when we won, the same as today when we lost and came up short. But there's a lot of good stuff in there that I'm proud of, and that we'll be able to, use as a positive. And there's a lot of stuff that we have to correct and make sure that we fix. And we'll do that tomorrow and try to get as healthy as we can and put a plan together for Baltimore.
Coach, what did you see from them in the second half defensively that stymied you guys a bit offensively and kept you guys?
Well, we knew they were going to continue to pressure. They pressured and played zone, and it wasn't, enough for us to be able to, I thought there were times where, they pressured and we couldn't come clean and, or we weren't able to complete some passes, especially on third down when they pressured. And so, we'll have to learn from it and we'll have to make sure that, we're converting third downs.
This isn't Josh Allen's first rodeo in these kinds of games. He's dozens, a couple of dozen. What is it about him? What do you see on maybe in film why he's able to do this sort of game in and game out?
I mean, it's the same thing everybody else sees. He's 6'5", 250 pounds, runs fast, hard to tackle, hard to get down on the ground. It's accurate, strong arm. Like, when I'm giving you, dissertation on a league MVP, it's like, just watch all the games and know that it's just the same as it was last week. You had a guy free, weren't able to make the play. Last week's team had a guy free, weren't able to make the play. Like, that's why they draft him, and that's why they pay him $60 million. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Just exactly what we knew it was going to be, that we were going to need to get a stop or, be able to tackle him if we pressured and we came free. And, so hopefully we get another opportunity to do that. But, that won't, be for, I don't know. But whenever we do, we'll have to be ready for the quarterback that we have this week.
So they hear Mike Vrabel, and been talked a lot about during the season. That's been has gone very well up until today's loss. He's known how to push the right buttons for this team every step. So what do you think Mike Vrabel's tone is with the team after this game? Pump them up. Hey, we're okay.
I think it was.
We just got to learn. We got to finish.
Yeah, I think it was exactly what we heard was what he probably did in the locker room. Like,
Yep.
Okay.
The accountability.
Yeah, we got work to do. We got a lot to learn. And
Right. You got you got to knock the champ out.
Yeah.
When the champ's on the ropes, you got to knock him out.
Yep.
Agreed.
It just seems to me like a whole second season right now. It's that pre-bye, they were great. They won 10 straight games. They, exceeded everyone's expectations. And now it's a 4-game season, or it's a 3-game season. You played the first of those final 4 games. And, you saw what it's going to be like, playing against a really good team, playing with raised stakes now, playing with a little bit of weather. So this is how these games are going to go.
Yeah.
And they've got to turn it around fast.
What are you more disappointed in this game, in the second half, the defense or the offense? Because
it's a good question.
They didn't make it a shootout. They really didn't.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah.
I would say the offense.
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Because we know what to expect from this offense.
Right, because, okay, we can't stop them, but they can't stop us. That's how you went.
No, they couldn't.
And all of a sudden they were stopping us.
Yeah.
And that's, I think I'm more disappointed in the offense.
That's why I didn't think.
Because you still could have won this game if you could have kept
That's why I
scoring.
didn't think they would lose.
That 3-and-out right at the beginning, they needed to take some time, give the defense a little chance to collect themselves at that point in time. That was the worst timed 3-and-out that you could possibly have, because it just got them back on the field, and here we go.
Is a good point, Matt, because not only that, and I know, what are you going to do? But when the Bills finally take the lead, the Patriots go 65 yards on one play.
Right.
And the defense is right back on the field.
Exactly.
And I know you're like, well, what else
This
do you
is
want
what
us
you
to
want.
do? We
Right.
just scored. But they were on the field a lot in the second half.
Right.
It's hard.
But I agree, Fred. I think offense.
Yeah, and I thought the offense showed that they could do it. And the defense did have a good start, but that it's a matter of time with him.
Before they break.
If your defense isn't going to be able to stop Josh Allen, it's not necessarily a revelation.
Yeah.
But if your offense suddenly can't run on the worst run defense and can't really throw the ball accurately anymore,
Yes,
that's
and
the hard part.
I know this is going to be sacrilegious, but I put a lot of that second half on Drake May. I really do.
He didn't play well.
You know,
it is what it is.
Because you look at that first half, and Josh is dialing it up, and it looks rhythm, blah, blah, blah. Well, the same guys are out there.
Exactly. And going into this, we thought it was going to be a shootout because we were comparing these two great quarterbacks. Well, one is slowly rising up to greatness, but it was disappointing.
I didn't see Hooper involved. I didn't see, Pop had the one play on the run, but did he have a target?
No.
No, so
right.
No, they didn't.
I don't know if that was indecisiveness on Drake's play.
The offense was not the same.
The Bills' defense is not that good.
No, well, and they obviously can't stop the run. I mean, they give up 250 yards running the ball, but the Patriots passing game was not sharp in this game,
No.
really, at all. And I know that everybody sort of downplays it, but the Bills' defense is really good against the pass. And I think that what we're seeing is, Matt's buddy, Mike talked about it in the pregame. Teams run the ball.
Yeah.
So the passing numbers are down, but they must cover because Drake had a lot of time to throw today.
He did.
They must cover reasonably well. They could not get off the field.
Right.
Which do we think that made him overthink all that time? Because
I should say stay on the field.
Yeah.
Misspoke.
So speaking of Drake,
Yeah.
and he did what I think he's done all year long. He'll be first up here in the auditorium and took responsibility like he has most all year long.
Came out of the second half and just got to make a play, pick up the first down. I think that's the biggest thing. There's some throws over which I had back, but at the end of the day, got to keep the foot on the pedal and keep it going and kind of don't let them dictate. And it starts with me and starts with what else we kind of felt like during the week that we had a chance this was going to happen, and just got to keep our foot on the pedal. And happened the first game. They came back. So just got to make a play and do my part when we had the ball and a chance to win the game to go win the game.
Then we have a mature team, I will say that. Learn from it and everything, and then get back to the basics that we need to get back to. I would say, we've lost before, and then we know the things that it takes and everything. Like I said, we got a mature team, so we're gonna dial in and get right.
Drake, you spoke this week about the importance of taking care of business with the opportunity because of the division on the line. How do you sort of stomach the missed opportunity and move on from here?
Yeah, just don't let it beat you twice. Move on to the next week and learn from it, and take what we can, and know that we got some football ahead of us that is important, still very important, and don't just hang our hat and keep your head up and know that we had a chance and we're there. Just they made more plays and credit to them.
That's who Josh Allen is. We talked about it all week. It's just props to them. He went out and came out in the second half and did what he does. So we'll learn from it. It hurts, obviously. Everybody knows this hurts. But we'll learn from it. Get in here tomorrow, learn from it, and be ready to move on to Baltimore.
We just got to be better when we're up. It starts with me making some throws, and then from there, just like Coach says, no naps. So just not relaxing, and I didn't feel like we relaxed. Just didn't make really enough plays, and credit to them. And I think it's one of the things that we're emphasizing during the week, and got to do a better job.
Trevian, how would you describe just sort of Mike Vrabel's message to you guys in the locker room after the game?
I think Coach Vrabel, man, he's such a great leader for this team, and his message was really, to hold us accountable, of course, and but to pick us up as well, and just to keep us focused. And I think he does a really great job at that. And so I respect him a lot as a head coach, and so I'm thankful that I get to play under him.
Deuce, you mentioned that there's a nice dividing line here going with the season. Pre-bye, everything that happened before the bye. Now we're after the bye. Tough game today where there's an opportunity to learn something. I think you heard that out of Drake Maye's voice. You just can't get beat twice.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that Baltimore game, which I think everybody thought was going to be a big game when the schedule came out in May, that's a big game on Sunday night,
Yeah.
And let's see how they respond.
And I'd also play up that it's on national TV again.
Yeah.
And it's a game that they've got to get their energy up for.
Yep.
And we've seen that, last handful of games. You saw a Monday night football game, you saw a Thursday night football game at home. Now the challenge is, they played in Buffalo on the road in front of a national audience, but seeing a team coming off a loss, first loss in a long time, and some holes and some injuries, and to have to regroup and then to go to Baltimore and bring the energy level up to meet what the Ravens are going to bring, which I would assume is going to be a championship caliber team that's hanging by a thread right now and is probably going to search for any way possible to try to pull out a win. So it's I think, to my eyes, it's a huge challenge this week to go down to Baltimore, turn this thing around, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, this has been a nightmare for a long time. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, it's going to be a huge challenge for this Patriots defense.
Would you guys say Spillane make a difference today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They missed.
I don't know if they win, but they wouldn't have given up the runs.
It might have been
all
the same
runs.
outcome, but they missed Spillane.
Yeah.
I think he's a better player than those guys by far.
Right.
I think he's better than Ellis, Gibbons, and Tavai by a lot.
Just an interesting one, though. I mean, I guess you guys have probably seen it, but a player of his caliber to be active but then not to play.
Right.
I could have sworn I saw him out there for a play at the beginning of the game, but I guess I was wrong.
Are they saving him for
I thought
Baltimore?
I saw 14 out there.
I mean, I don't know specifically for Baltimore, but I think it's the kind of thing where we got a real chance he's gonna further get hurt.
Yeah.
But it's just such a kind of strange timeline with everything that I'm.
I wonder
I'm not
what
sure
would have been the
exactly.
condition to get him out there.
Everybody else gets wiped out. I
Yeah.
mean, injury-wise, I don't know. They're thin.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
I don't think he took a snap, Freddie. Yeah.
I don't think he took a snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like, you made him active. So like, what
Right.
would have been the situation where Vrabel said, "Okay, go in"?
I mean, honestly, I thought it was almost like you just want to have him on the sidelines. You want to have him leading the group out of the room.
Well,
Like,
can't you
just
do that
those kind
anyway?
of
It doesn't have to be
things.
active.
So fair enough. That's all I could come up
If
with.
there was a time, I think it would have been that second half.
But who was inactive? I mean, I think he was there for emergency, but who was inactive that you could have used today?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I haven't even.
So that's the thing is they had
Chisholm.
Right. Which is exactly why I asked the question. You know, it was.
Must you ask? Chisholm.
You know, the inactive list today was a bunch of guys that really haven't played. You know, Eric Gregory and you know Braden Swinson, CJ Dupree.
Swinson. I mean, everyone wants to see what he can do on the edge.
I don't think this is a week to have a kid like hasn't
Braden
really played
Swinson
much,
and
right?
CJ Dupree are on the roster, evidently because someone inquired about poaching them off the practice squad.
Right.
Because they haven't really played.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they didn't want to lose them after developing them all year.
Okay, so why didn't you want to lose him? Because you think he has potential. All right, how are we going to know
he's
that
not-
potential?
if he
Get
was
him
ready-
out there.
But if he was ready to play, is my point is
Well, what's he been
he'd be
doing?
playing. He's on the practice squad. He's
Get
helping
him out there.
He's helping
Talking
them.
about practice.
Just get him out there and go get that big guy. See the big guy over there? Go get him.
I want to see you coaching. I like that.
Post loss Fred is often the best friend.
You didn't even have your donut, did you?
Yeah, no.
I had half of
Oh,
one.
you did? Okay. A little sugar rush. Let's head back out to the phone
Half.
lines.
That's all I could muster.
Patty's back in Agawam.
Didn't taste the same.
He doesn't.
The victory
Hi, Patty.
Hey, guys and gal. I got three things. I'll try and make them quick. First thing, I was wrong when I called in the pregame show, and I said I thought they had a chance to really break the game open and kind of, force Buffalo to be desperate and not fight back. But they did, and all credit goes to them. The second point is the two big things that are going to show up when this team makes the playoffs is depth. I mean, no Milton Williams, no Spillane. We saw what happened in the running game, and you can't play a 30-minute game against a good team and expect to win. Just not going to happen. And the last thing, I have to disagree with Paul and Freddie for like the first time in a long time. I'm more disappointed with the defense. Not to say that I was happy with how the offense played in the second half, but if you score 31 points, you should win the game. And come on, I mean,
not necessarily against the
red zone.
Bills.
You can't. You can't. Yeah, I know, but you can't just like hold them to a field goal on one red zone possession.
No, I'm not telling you I'm happy with the
sorry.
defense.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, the offense is better than the defense. So I was more disappointed in them.
And
I think the defense came up with, they got a couple of stops for you. I wasn't expecting stops. And they got a couple.
What's the one thing that I think we've all talked about during the year that you want to see Drake Maye do? He's checked a lot of boxes this year.
Yeah,
The one thing that you haven't seen him do is you've got the ball, you're down, take the team down the field. And for all the problems that the defense have had, 5 straight scores, they gave him the ball back with, Paul, you said at the beginning of the show, 2:43 and all 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
They did nothing.
Yeah. I
They
still
had-
had some belief at that
They
point.
had 2 drives.
Yeah.
2 drives that he had
Punted it,
with a
they got it
chance. They
back, and
punted
then-
it, they got a 3 and out, and then they went 4 and out.
Right. Yeah, maybe I was just a little a year ahead of the curve on my is Drake clutch question of the summer. That was my big question.
yeah.
Going in, not would Drake take an MVP style lead? Just no, will he be at his best at the end of some games?
I didn't even think about that.
Well, is that
this
the
whole
next step for you?
MVP talk. Now it's going to be.
So I will say,
is Josh Allen now the MVP?
No, I don't know about Josh Allen, but like I will
Why
say,
not?
No, I didn't say
He's the best player.
I didn't say he won't.
He's the best player in
But
the
I
league.
will So let's get to this. The game again. The first half, when he had the 2 runs for touchdowns, this is a crowd to me that is very disappointing week in and week out. I thought the Monday night game was really kind of lame in terms of the atmosphere. This place was rocking.
Oh, yeah.
The MVP chant was
Started in
even in the press box.
Early in
You
the
could
first
hear
quarter.
it. Those 2 touchdown runs. The MVP chants were rocking, and then nothing offensively the rest of the game.
Yep.
That was really disappointing.
Yep.
No, it's loud on the Henderson long touchdown run to give him back the
I was
lead.
talking about
But there's no
I'm talking
drive.
about the MVP.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I think the MVP went, wet fart.
Yeah.
Right.
Patty, did you make all your points?
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Patty.
Patty, I'm not going to lie. I was thinking of you when it was 21-0 because Patty did. I remember
Did
him
he?
saying that.
He said it could be a blowout.
He said he thinks they were going to blow him out. I was thinking of my Patty.
Oh,
Patty, my Patty.
Like, where would you have to get to in points to feel like, no, we're going to blow them out? Like, it'd have to be like 42-0.
And
Then I'd be like, I think we're going to blow them out.
I didn't. Like I said to you guys, I thought that you and Evan were a little bit overly cautious at halftime.
Yeah.
But I didn't think the game was over because I've seen that guy. That's the fourth time he's won a game while allowing 31 more points.
You know, Paul, you said
It's unbelievable.
You said like, oh, the Bills are never going to feel like they're out of it against the Patriots. Well, the Patriots' perspective, I'm never going to feel like you have it until like the clock hits 0. Like you need a 50-point lead.
Yeah, I hate to say what I felt like at halftime, but it had an AFC Championship game against the Colts kind of a feeling. Where
That's
what I said.
Freddie used that.
It was uneasy.
How
Like,
about
they're
Phillip
winning,
Rivers,
but it
by
was
the way?
uneasy.
Touchdown, Colts. This guy.
This is crazy.
This is an unbelievable story if this continues. They're up 13-3.
You don't think the media is going to lap that up with Rivers, do you?
You don't think they should?
I'm kidding. I know, of course.
He's 44 years old and he's got a beer belly.
It's like dad. No, I was just going to say it's dad bod, Phillip Rivers.
But
And I
like-
just love it. Which is just crazy to me. He's like 19 years ago, I went to a playoff game to watch him against the Patriots play, and now here he is still friggin' doing it. It's
Still
pretty
somehow
cool.
doing
Love this stuff, though.
Gosh darn it.
Didn't particularly care for Phillip
Inclusive-
Rivers when he was
Dadgummit.
Chargers,
Inclusive
but man.
And he
quarterback
did it
bodies.
without eating avocado all the time.
He ate the opposite
He's
of
still
avocado.
cheating himself with strawberries.
He's probably eating mocha chip.
Fred's in a dark place. He's now taking shots at Brady.
Get a little fat, Tom. There's nothing wrong with it. Come on.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
didn't even have Alex Guerrero.
That's funny. He was on
Oh,
his couch
Freddie.
2 weeks ago coaching high school
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. They run the same offense as the Colts. I'm like, a high school team runs the same offense?
Well, he played for Shane Steichen. You know that, right? So that's why he runs the offense.
I know. I'm like, but is that complicated or is he just
Yeah, I'm sure it's not like the same offense.
dumbed down, hopefully?
All right, Austin is
Okay.
here in Mass.
Boston.
Austin.
What's up, Boston?
Austin and Boston.
How's everyone doing?
We're okay.
Some of us better than others.
We've all been better.
Yeah, I think we all have. I just wanted to say the second half, the way the Bills punked us was not okay. It was not okay whatsoever. And it reminded me of something. I don't know if any of y'all are Celtics fans, but in 22 we had a coach who always preached that you can't punk us. You can't punk anybody on us. You have to have a tough mentality. And the Bills just showed that they were better at that. And we just went away from what worked. And I don't know if that was, if it was a mental thing or if it was a X's and O's thing, but it was annoying to watch because I've watched every game this year from the preseason to this week, and I have not seen a collapse like that except for the Pittsburgh game, but it was just unacceptable.
Yeah. I don't know if it's called punking if they're a better team.
I was going to say,
have a better quarterback.
Did the
but-
Bills beat you, or did you blow it?
Both.
Or did Josh
Yeah,
Allen beat you?
both can be true.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the Bills certainly earned the comeback,
Bills earned the win.
but the Patriots are complicit in it by not scoring any points in
Yeah,
the
the
second
Bills
half.
made plays.
Yeah.
If the
and-
Patriots just mounted one drive,
Yeah.
and I'm not even talking about a touchdown drive. I'm saying like a
Take
5-minute
some time off the clock.
5-minute drive
Right.
somewhere. You know, 6-7-minute drive. Like they couldn't sustain any offense in the second half.
Because it's on my feed right now, Josh Allen apparently throws up before every game.
Yeah, he was throwing up in the second half.
But he told them it happens every game. If
Yeah.
I don't get enough out pregame, it just happens.
Oh boy!
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
CBS decided to share it too.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we know about it. Yeah, they
I didn't
put it on the broadcast.
Tossing cookies.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, back to DJ in Arizona. Hi, DJ.
Hey, Mr. DJ.
Hey everyone. So sad. It wasn't the outcome I expected.
Yeah.
But Mr. Paul, I know we had high hopes and everything was going good. But I will say this. I was talking to my friend and I was like, if I look at the rest of our schedule from coming out of this bye, if we need to lose one game, I'd say it'd be to the Bills and nobody else because that's the only playoff team that I feel like is gonna be left on the schedule. I don't think the Ravens are gonna make it. They do, whatever. But I still don't feel like they would be a big tough test. I feel the Bills like have always been a great team in December. Their record shows it also in December. And then my second thing, I will say, when I did call in, Paul and everyone, I said if we came with that same energy that we had against the Giants, then I felt we had a good shot to win it. And, yeah, we came out with explosive plays, playing good, but I don't think we had that same energy that we did against that Giants.
I thought
You-
they were
you went
better
out
in
to a
this game
21-0
than the Giants.
lead.
Right, I thought they were better than the Giants.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
Game.
The second half.
I thought the
agree.
energy was there in the first half. I think it was the best half of football they've played all year.
I couldn't agree with you more, Paul.
I stole that from Mike.
I get what y'all are saying by that. What I mean by the energy is like, those nice big hits, the turn-up plays.
Like the
all
hype.
that stuff
Yeah.
we
Yeah, I
had.
see what you mean.
But we didn't have the hype. Like, no player was just like, you know how Diggs on the sideline turning up? He did that a few times.
I see what you
Nobody
mean.
was
I
just like,
disagree.
The most hype I saw them
everyone, like,
was
with
when
our
Travis
plays.
Scott was put on the Jumbotron, and
Go
then
look-
they went to Stephanie.
Go look at the third down sack and go watch the secondary,
Thanks, DJ.
the players in the secondary going crazy when I think it was Gibbons that ended up getting credit for that sack.
Well, yeah, true.
They were.
Yeah.
They forced 3 punts to start the game. Now, forced is a strong word, but the first 3 punts for the Bills all ended with punts, and I thought the energy was pretty high. They didn't sustain it. It's
the tale of two halves.
We've been talking about this kind of stuff a lot, and can they get themselves in a situation where they can play a more complete game? And we'll see.
That is the question. All right, we're gonna head to Virginia. DC is the person.
Hello, guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, DC.
Good. Despite the refs, kind of aiding the Bills, kind of helping the Bills, kind of get key, first down, key situations of the game. One thing I can say about this Patriots team is, like, it seems like when they come out with this energy and they're all fierce and ready to go, they get way too conservative. And that's one of the biggest things I always concerned me about this team, like moving forward against the better team. Because I kind of felt like that against the Giants when I kind of felt like they all kind of opened the door up a little bit. So when you do that against the better team, they can make you pay for that. And that's what concerns me moving forward with this team and to the point when they face these better teams. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
DC.
Yeah, you get a little conservative. I don't know if that's the case, but it looks that way sometimes.
Did you think they were conservative
just don't-
offensively today?
They just weren't executing.
Yeah, I didn't think it.
I didn't think they were conservative.
Paul likes the,
You're
the
right,
trick
Fred. They
plays
didn't
for 5
execute.
yards.
Yeah.
No.
We had
In the first half, obviously, but like I people don't like my explanation, and I get it because it doesn't necessarily speak as highly of the team as you want it to be. But I think that Josh McDaniels has been so good at dialing up stuff almost every game that catches the other team by surprise, and it takes the other team a while to figure it out. And it's hard to do that for 60 minutes. It's hard to be able to sort of trick and scheme open a guy here or double team a guy there to keep a guy. I just think it's hard to do that for 60 minutes every game. And today in the second half, okay, so they came out. What did they do to start the game? What was great in the first half? Running the ball. So they come out in the second half with Mumford as the extra lineman, the extra tight end, and they come out and run the ball. Well, Buffalo stopped the first play. Okay, it's not like they stopped all the other plays because later in the half, the guy went 65 yards for a touchdown. But then they throw, and then they got sacked. So 2 out of the first 3 plays on your 3 and out, they threw. So I guess everybody thinks that it was conservative to run on first down. Well, they ran on the first down of the first, you know what I mean? So when it works, it's a good call. If it doesn't work, it's a bad call. And that's the plight of the offensive coordinator, I would say. But, I'm going to go down to the second drive when they got the ball. So now it's 24-21, and the Patriots get the ball. Pass to, a short pass that's like a run to Stevenson for 16 yards, right? Then pass, false start, holding call, pass. intercepted. Is that conservative?
Right.
3rd and 25.
You know, no, but like they passed on every play of the drive.
I know.
Like literally every play of the drive was a pass. So far in the second half, they've had the ball twice, they haven't scored, and they ran the ball once. I don't know, like, we can blame Josh McDaniels if we want. I know that makes everybody feel better when you have someone to blame. I don't think it was Josh McDaniels' fault.
Okay.
All right. Vinny in New Haven.
They got to execute better.
What are your thoughts?
They've got to execute better.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
We hear you.
I want some Frank Pepe's pizza.
Hey, it's a tough loss. I'm really happy to see Rhamondre Stevenson get some tough yards up in there. It's great to see Henderson run. I just, I'm excited to see that we got the run game going a little bit.
Vinny, are you playing our show in the background?
Yeah, there's a lot of echo.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
What do I do?
Just put it
Turn
on
down the
mute.
internet.
Mute it for now.
I love when Fred tells them to turn
Now you
down the
sound
internet.
better, I think. Keep going.
What do I?
Sorry to interrupt.
Just happy that we found a way to get the run game going a little bit, even though we lost. And if we're gonna end up in the playoffs against the Bills a third time, I guess my superstitious side of me is like, hey, good, we lost one. Now we can win the next one.
There you go.
Deuce,
Like your attitude.
do you feel any better after this game that there's an Act 3 coming with these two teams?
No, I mean, I still feel that way. I mean, it seems like they'd probably be on a collision course for another one, but it's just with each game, it changes how you view it. And I always go back to, I think, the 21 playoff game against Josh Allen where he didn't punt, and that's always the impression I have for him. And this is how it's going to go with Buffalo. I mean, and what lead is safe? I mean, and it's a lesson to these Patriots that, what's it look like when Buffalo goes out to a lead? Like, are they going to, because that's probably going to happen at some point too. But this team, they got a lot to get right in the next 3 weeks, and I don't think any of these games are going to be easy. I mean, the Jets one, it is what it is. But that Miami game, Tua, yeah,
Let me know. I'll let you know after the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Let's see how Tua does in the cold tomorrow night.
If Miami shows up to play that game, then I'm
You're gonna get a dogfight.
I'll say there's a chance that game is meaningful. I don't. They can't lose. They can't lose to those two games. But the other part, the third game, everything Mike said is true. Like, what happens if Buffalo? I'll give you another one, Freddie, for your boy R.A. McDermott. Terrible drive at the end. So you get the 3 and out, force a punt. It's like, 4 or 5 minutes left. You need a couple of first downs. You get like a 6-yard run on first down. You got to get a first down there. And then he throws a screen there. That's a terrible call. Like, I know they threw the ball, but you gotta get a first down there. You got Josh Allen. How do you not do something, dial up to Joe Brady?
But he's not calling the plays.
Yeah, he's the coach.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he's responsible.
Good
You
play
got
by
to get the
Davis
first down.
here.
It's an incredible play by
Great play
Carlton
by
Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just that play alone got him on the good list. That was a great play, and because of the magnitude of the play,
Right.
Yeah.
I think it belongs on the good list. But this is a terrible call to me.
What'd you think of the PI on Davis?
So
I
Fred
didn't
and I
like it.
thought it was ticky-tack, but
He had him by the jersey, right?
yeah.
He did, but to me, I didn't see any pull.
He
I saw the
didn't
hand
pull,
on
he
it, but I never
grabbed it.
saw the stretch.
There's no-
and that
he
to me
didn't
is,
impede,
especially
had
when
no
it's,
effect on
I
the
thought it was
play.
ticky-tack.
when
Davis
it's 10
talked in the
seconds
locker room.
afterwards.
He didn't like the timing
Yeah,
of it,
right.
which I think
the
is
was
call was
laughable.
very late, but he
Right.
definitely grabs his
Yeah,
jersey.
right. I mean, and I think he's right about, like, call it. If you think it was a hold, call it. Don't wait 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Let somebody talk you into it and then call it.
So, again, this is how close these games are. In Buffalo, similar play did not get flagged.
Right.
The Bills ended up having to kick a field goal to tie the game instead of getting a touchdown to take
good
the
call.
lead.
Good call.
That's how close this is.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, we got another call from Danny in Daytona. Danny, what's up?
Might need Vrabel to pump Fred up.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
He'll be all right by Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad we lost.
Yeah, so
Let me tell you what, folks.
Sorry, Danny.
Let me
Hold
tell
on.
you why it was a good thing.
Okay, Danny, continue.
here's my my take, guys. I was impressed in the first half. I have a couple different things I'd like to mention. If y'all can remember, well, actually, Paul, to your point earlier, Jeremy Springer should be on notice. everybody on the special teams, if I was them, I'd fire them. Every player. They played awful.
Wow, fire them. Every player? Oh, come on. That's a little dramatic.
Firing is strong.
Right.
That's a little dramatic.
I mean, they just had like a 94-yard punt return in the previous game for a touchdown.
Right.
I'm making an emphasis. The special teams was absolutely horrendous.
They were bad today.
They were bad today.
They were bad today, and definitely part of the loss.
Yep.
Big part.
The defense again on the defense. Mike's got to find a real coordinator. I understand that Terrell's out; he's got cancer. Core is not the answer. Maybe you can chime in this on Mike. The JJ Watt put in throughout the whole game. They stayed in zone. It seemed like almost every snap of the defensive play throughout the entire game. Like they didn't show any man looks. I don't know if it's just because they got a lot of jags, as Parcells used to say. They got too many just guys off the street playing in there, and the defense looked horrendous.
Well, they need to upgrade the personnel.
Yeah,
you notice how quiet Barmore was today?
Yeah, and
that's absolutely all about Milton Williams.
Absolutely. So 2 of their 3 best defensive players didn't play today.
Yeah.
Like Spillane and Milton Williams are out. Like he's doing what he can with what he's got.
Well, isn't Barmore supposed to be one of them?
I think Barmore's a little bit
Isn't
different.
Gonzalez supposed to be one of them?
I don't think Gonzalez had a bad game.
I do.
Well, you saw guys open, but no passes completed.
But that's part of the game.
I know.
You got to cover your guy.
But he wasn't the
You
reason.
got absolutely wiped out on that run by Josh Allen, and that got him down inside the 5-yard line.
He's a cornerback, but
I know. Marcus Jones would have made that play.
Well, come on.
Marcus Jones tackles.
No, I didn't see anything
Competes.
I didn't see anything that Gonzalez did today that lost the game for them.
I didn't say he lost the game. See, that's what you do. I didn't say he lost the game. Wow, we made it an hour and 50 minutes, and he finally got me. I didn't say he lost the game. I said I don't think he played well. I don't think Barmore played well either. Those are your best players.
Well,
Those are 2 of your 3 best players.
I think they game planned for Barmore because they could. There wasn't anyone else.
Man.
Thanks, Danny.
Is that why the Bills gave up 250 on the ground? I don't think so.
Yeah, I know. I just
because they were missing their inside linebacker. I don't know.
Well, they've been doing that all year.
Milano showed up today,
and he's been out the last
Bill's run defense is not that good.
Yeah, and
Milano
the Patriots
showed up a
defense
little bit
isn't
today,
that
though,
good.
didn't he?
Milano's a good player.
He's a good player.
Wait a minute.
Boston College.
Patriots defense was good against the run,
but not for the last 11 weeks now.
11 weeks?
That's according to Mike Reese.
Well, I don't know about that.
Mike Reese had a note. I might be. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Let's see.
The last 7 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, 7 weeks.
According to Mike Reese, he had a thing in his
article.
notes today.
Yeah.
It started before Milton Williams went out, and Milton Williams, by the way, is not known as a run player.
Exactly.
Well, he wasn't last year because he only played a third of the downs. But this year he's been better.
But he's not a great run. He's a great interior presence.
Listen, it's all about
the pass rush.
It's all about
That's
holding
what he's known
up
for.
And I mean, it was like the Red Sea being parted on too many plays.
They missed Spillane today.
Absolutely.
But I think they missed Williams today because I think Williams, the combination of Williams and Barmore,
Williams
helps build the wall that Mike talks about. We
Williams
need to do a
is
better
a huge
job of building a wall.
Williams is a huge loss.
Correct.
And I said that early in the game. You're missing 2 big parts of your defense in your front 7, and you got Gash. But it's not like everything else is fine. Like you had plenty of players out there that should have been better than that. But you absolutely miss Milton Williams a lot, and you miss Robert Spillane today a lot.
All right.
Well, that goes back to the whole conversation we've been having all year about depth on this team. There isn't a lot of it.
Yeah, that's what the caller mentioned.
There isn't a lot of it. So when you're missing Williams and when you're missing Spillane right up the middle, and then you see Cook running right up the middle, I'm like, okay, I know why.
Yeah, and I'd say Landry's banged up. I would say, in a perfect world, I think Chason is your pass rusher guy.
Absolutely.
He's not your
situational guy.
You're seeing more Jennings now in there, and I think with all the rotation they have going on, you're seeing that coordination. Guys are getting blown up. They're not building the wall. It looks a certain way, and it's not happening. There's too much space inside. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but they got to figure it out because Derrick Henry next week. Hello.
Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
What week is this? I think
next week?
15.
This week is 15.
15.
So
Next week is 16.
6 weeks now, and it's going to go down because it will be worse. According to Mike Reese, I'm going to trust his stats because I think Mike is the best.
Yeah.
And when it comes to being meticulous, since week 10, so that's 6 weeks now. which most of that is now without Milton Williams. Well, 3 of them without Milton Williams, so half. They're 29th in the league in average yards allowed per carry. So that's a pretty big sample size, 6 weeks. It's not just 1 or 2 weeks.
Right. And you don't have to be Amos Alonzo Stagg to figure out.
But Milton Williams is part of that.
They're going to call Derrick Henry's number on Sunday
Milton
night.
Williams is part of that because he's been missing. And even it's 3 games he's been out, but he also didn't really play in the Jets game.
Right.
So it's kind of like 4 games.
Right. 4 games, yeah.
Tampa, I think Milton Williams did play, and it was an issue that game too.
Started the leaks.
And it's Mike had it since week 10. They're 29th in the league in average yards per carry allowed, which is kind of a glaring number.
Yep.
Looking ahead to next week, ending on a positive note, what is one thing you want to see from this game transferred into next week's game?
One thing I want to see?
Translated.
Oh, the whole first half.
Well, yes, but
the good start and
more
the energy
nitty-gritty.
and coming out. And like I said, I mean, I think you've got to get back up in a hurry for, essentially a playoff game, I would say. It's maybe not as quite a playoff game for the Patriots yet, but it's going to be one
Pretty
for the
damn
Ravens,
close, Mike. Pretty damn close.
It's just an incredible challenge. I just feel like we're in a whole separate thing now.
Yep.
We're going to look at that like beginning part of season. Great start to the Mike Vrabel era. These 4 games are going to tell you really where this team is at. And, coming out of this game, this is kind of what it is. We're waiting to see, can Drake take that step to that level where at the end of the game and he has a chance and he can do what made Tom Brady the greatest of all time.
Listen, they had good pass cover protection today.
Yeah.
I thought they had very good pass
I'd love
protection
that
today.
to carry over to next game.
That's a great. Going back to the next gen sets, this was the lowest pressure rate allowed on offense all season long by a considerable margin.
Back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
So maybe let's give Vidarian Lowe a little love.
Yeah. So like I said, I know a lot of people are going to go. I don't think Drake Maye played well in the second half. I think a lot of this was on him. I don't know. Again, I'd have to see the all 22 with Evan to see if guys were getting open, but he had time.
He did.
And wide receivers just weren't being targeted.
Correct.
For whatever reason.
And he was behind and high a lot, I thought, in the second half.
Hunter. Yeah. Hollins.
When Kwani first started to ask that question, I thought you were going to say, what do you want to see? To me, that's the number one thing I want to see is Drake May bounce back and look like MVP.
Yeah, I want, you know what? I want that 300-yard game next week. I demand a 300-yard game from Drake Maye next week.
Time.
I'm calling it into existence. I'm putting it out there. It's going to happen. So there
From
you
your
go.
lips to God's
There
ears.
you go. Count on a
Gauntlet
300-yard passing game from Drake Maye next week, Sunday night. Book it.
We'll clip this and play it in post game.
Hey, I mean, how bad is it for the Chiefs fans though right now?
You're out.
Rappaport saying he's going to have an MRI to determine, but that it didn't look good according to Andy Reid. But you get knocked out of the playoffs, and now you might be looking at
in the same
Mahomes is in a rehab situation.
And we just sort of touched on this a little bit in the pregame show. No Kansas City. How's Buffalo feel getting on the bus leaving here today going, okay, look what's going on.
The roadblock is out of the way.
Exactly.
So they're going to be overconfident. They're going to lose next week.
Who, Buffalo?
Yeah.
Against Cleveland?
They could. Who cares?
Cleveland's going to beat them.
Well, who cares?
I'm only kidding.
Yeah, sure.
And that'll show
We'll
them.
take that too.
If I were doing the Kansas City Fred Kirsch role, I would say maybe it's a blessing in disguise. They're done anyway. Like the loss eliminated them for all intents. If they're not mathematically eliminated, for all intents and purposes, they're eliminated now. So one thing I would say critical of Patrick Mahomes is I'm not sure he comes ready to go at the start of every season. And now he's going to spend the offseason rehabbing, which is going to probably get him in the best shape that he's been in a while.
Interesting way to look at it.
Torn ACL, he'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
He'll be ready to go for next season as a quarterback. So maybe he's more prepared, from a physical standpoint.
Who cares about the Chiefs?
Right. Yeah.
No one right now.
Literally.
Not me.
All right. Well.
Oh, we still get to see him in primetime on Christmas night, though. Great.
Go
Ooh.
Packers, 16-14.
Who's the quarterback now?
Is
I don't know.
Is NBC or Prime or Peacock or whoever's doing the game? Are they desperately making a call right now?
Universo.
Are they trying to sit there and go, hi, can we get somebody else in on Christmas night? please.
Most likely.
Gardner Minshew.
Right.
Yeah, that's
right. Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. You filthy animal.
All right. Well, that does it for this edition of the Patriots Postgame Show. Thank you for sticking around for Matt Smith and Paul Perillo and Mike Dussault and Fred Kirsch.
300
I'm
yards
Kwani
next
Lunis.
week.
300 yards for
Salty
Drake Maye.
Fred Kirsch
Book
today.
it.
We'll be back next week. Thanks for watching.
Hey, this is Alex. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.